Chapter 6135. Looking at the burly man with a round body and obvious lines, Jian Wushuang said in surprise, "Frozen demon race? It is very similar to the ancient temple and gula that were beheaded at the beginning. It's just that the opponent's power is too strong." He couldn't feel each other's breath. "Kid, remember my name. It will be very interesting when you arrive at the Realm King continent." The burly man sneered, and before the surrounding time and space condensed, he jumped down the river into the abyss. In the water, a figure appeared again. This time Jian Wushuang knew each other. Zama's. Sure enough, it was the opponent's backhand hidden here. It's just that the other party said that he was going to the Realm King continent, which made him a little curious. The strength of the Frozen Demon clan just now was countless times stronger than him. If he wanted to do it, he would definitely die, but he didn't do it, but left. "Jian Wushuang, are you curious why I didn't shoot you just now?" Zama's held his hands behind his back, his voice proud. The way he spoke made Jian Wushuang very uncomfortable. He didn't answer directly, just stared at each other coldly. The surrounding time and space were completely frozen, and the figure of the Realm King was also teleported here. That person just now is Cud? As soon as the Realm King came, he was surprised. Because the breath just now is too familiar. That was once the king of the Realm King continent. The superpower in the universe god. I thought it had fallen, but I didn't expect it to be hidden in the northern time and space. When Zama saw the Realm King coming, he sneered, "Remind you, I will soon enter the starry sky to conduct the trial of the Realm King. When I'm not here, I must find an opponent for you in the northern time and space." Cud. Jian Wushuang did not know who the other party was, but only knew that the other party was the Frozen Demon race. The trial of the Realm King? The Realm King looked embarrassed. He didn't expect Zamasu's growth to be so fast, and he had reached the point of seeing the trial of the Realm King. Once the trial is successful, it is the apprentice of the Realm King, and at that time it is really the second strongest in the realm of the realm. That's right. Zama's opened a space-time channel and reminded him before entering the tunnel, "When I come back, there will be no more 4 time spaces." After speaking, he disappeared into the northern time and space. This time he leaves, it may never come to the northern time and space, because the coordinates of the northern time and space are on Cud. The other party has returned to the Realm King continent, and Zama's has also lost his coordinates, and he cannot find the northern time and space unless he becomes a king god. After Zama's left, the king's face was silent, and his eyes were a little dull. There were many doubts in Jian Wushuang's heart, such as which Frozen Demon race. After the Realm King knew the identity of the other party, there was a lot of fear. Now that Zama's is gone, shouldn't it be to fill the peace? Jian Wushuang. The Realm King glanced at Jian Wushuang, feeling a little guilty in his heart. For all the practitioners who traveled to the Realm King continent from the northern time and space, he felt very guilty, because it caused them a lot of trouble. Lord Realm King. Jian Wushuang was unaware. In fact, I understand it in my heart. People have not yet reached the Realm King continent, and they have already provoked a lot of enemies. It is dangerous to go. But he was never afraid of them. There is no danger, what is the chance? The strong do not come from cowering, they all crawled out of death. So nothing to be afraid of. He knew what the King of Realm was going to say, so he stopped him immediately and said, "Lord Realm King doesn't need to say more. Why don't you explain Zama's words and the Frozen Demon clan to me?" When Zama's left, he said that he wanted to see the trial of the Kaiwang god, as well as the Cud, who is known as the King of Kaiwang continent. Sounds great. The power that has just been shown is also very powerful. Let's get to know your opponent first. And it seems that Zama's goal is not the northern dimension, but the 4 major dimensions. Clear the 4 dimensions? From Jian Wushuang's point of view, aren't the 4 major dimensions of time and space attached to the starry sky? Starry sky can be maintained. After the Realm King heard it, he smiled bitterly and said awkwardly, "Jian Wushuang, you think too highly of me, and also the attached time and space. Without the 4 dimensions of time and space, the starry sky is still the starry sky. It can't even affect the Realm King continent. Otherwise, Zama's had arranged so many times in the northern time and space, and the starry sky would have been furious. But this time, no one paid any attention. At the beginning, the destruction of life threatened the northern time and space, and it was only because the identity was erased after violating the supreme rule. As for the northern time and space, in the eyes of the star gods, it is not that important. In other words, life is not that important. The 4 long rivers of time and space were originally attached. Everything in life can be regenerated. When Weiss came, it was not because of the safety of the North Dimension, but because of the goddess. Later, he stayed because of Jian Wushuang. This is also why the King of Realm reacts so much when he sees the Protoss. Because a superperson like Star Spirit doesn't care about the attached time and space at all, being able to go to the Realm King continent is to give the Jiwang god a great face. And the so-called subsidiary time and space like this is not used to stabilize the starry sky, but to suppress the world. On the heavy face of the Realm King, Yu was reading www. Has a little more brilliance. Jian Wushuang, there are 4 long rivers surrounding the starry sky and connecting with each other, so where are the rest? This question really stopped Jian Wushuang. Worldview. His worldview has changed many times. At first, I thought that the long river of time and space was already very powerful. Looking up at the starry sky, that is his sky. But now that the Real King asked this question, it was obviously not as simple as he thought, so he shook his head and listened carefully. Jie Wang Dan laughed, stepped onto the riverbank, sat down with his knees crossed, and signaled Jian Wushuang to sit together. Looking at the posture, Jian Wushuang felt that it was not easy. He also sat down, took out the tea, and poured it over to the real king. After taking a sip of tea, the Realm King said, "We can all see the starry sky. Beyond the starry sky is the long river of time and space. Above the long river is the Realm King's continent, and around the continent there are unexplored boundless places. Earth, where there is no Tao, there is Tao everywhere. For example, if you punch with your hand, you can open up a fist way, and a sword in your hand is a sword way, and you can open up the world of swords, which is 1,000,000 times simpler than space and time." Jian Wushuang was startled when he heard this. It is 10,000 times simpler than practicing in time and space. In an instant he thought of the starry sky where he had gone. Wild world. Endless place. Open a path at will. Depends on whether you have that power. As long as you have ambition, you can become a super being. When he saw a wild ancient man, he thought of the ultimate. So there is a polar star. Because all he can see is the starry sky. That also ends in the starry sky. Could it be that the place I went to was not the starry sky, but the promised land? Jian Wushuang frowned, revealing a look of shock. Chapter 6136. The Realm King didn't care, and thought that Jian Wushuang was shaken by the master, which is also normal. People who heard this for the first time were like this. Then he continued, "Think about it, there is no end to the practice, but it is extremely simple. So what will happen in this infinite land? Invincible." Jian Wushuang stood up directly. Without rules, it is bound to be invincible. As long as you keep cultivating and adding an infinite number, there will always be an invincible person. The land of infinity, Jian Wushuang exclaimed, that is an invincible place. If they all go to the land of promise to practice, wouldn't their overall strength be raised to an infinite level? But after thinking about it, the Realm King said so, and no one should take the initiative to go to practice. The Realm King also explained at this time, if it's really like what you said, it's still a bad thing, a world without rules. It's a very scary world, so there are 4 great time and space rivers, using time and space to isolate the outside world. Therefore, it doesn't matter whether there is life in the 4 major dimensions of time and space, and this is where Zamas is confident. So it is. Jian Wushuang sat down slowly, and he really thought it was simple. That kind of place, once it is really released, may not be a good thing for the stars. For long rivers of time and space surround the starry sky, just to isolate the infinite land. It's kind of interesting. Isolate time and space. So no one can get out. It also forms an inner circle and an outer square. A place with rules is a round place without rules, and it is boundless. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang thought of the Lord of the Starry Sky. The sky has a master. Where did this existence that opened up the starry sky come from? Endless land? Just as he thought so, there was a huge buzzing sound in his mind, like a punishment for blasphemy. The consciousness in his mind still exploded. Jian Wushuang hurriedly covered his head to wake himself up. The Realm King was not surprised when he saw this scene, and said with a smirk, It seems that you have been recruited. Haven't you heard a word when you were ordinary? What? Raise your head 3 feet and there is a god. Snapped. Jian Wushuang patted his head, panting heavily. I thought I had reached the point of beheading. The existence that opened up the starry sky is not a god. The person he appoints is a god, and the position of the is what he says. Who do you think is more powerful? The king smiled and said, The reason I tell you this is to let you understand that there are people outside the sky, there are days outside the people, you must not slack off, and there are things in the infinite land, don't think about it, you will know more when you emerge in the realm of kings. Telling Jian Wushuang now is indeed a bit redundant. The Lord of the Universe in the 7 Tribulations realm did not even go out in time and space. It is indeed a bit redundant to care about the Promised Land. At least one has to become the God of the universe to be able to think about it. The Promised Land is the dream demon of the entire starry sky. How big is the sky? For Jian Wushuang, it is heaven, is the largest. But for the Realm King, the starry sky is too small. Compared to the land of promise, it is very small. And the threat is even greater. If not surrounded by 4 long rivers of time and space, the war outside the starry sky may burn for endless years. The reason for the existence of life in the 4 major dimensions of time and space is actually from the great Realm King. It is to be able to take the initiative to attack in the future and go to the Promised Land to explore the origin of cultivation, or the origin of life. The of life in the northern time and space is Danbao, which even Jian Wushuang knows. It is not a secret who the Realm King knows about the of life in the starry sky. But where does life in the endless land come from? Who created it? Everyone is looking for this secret. This time Jian Wushuang is considered a long experience. For a moment he seemed to really see his end. Looking for the secret of the endless land? Teacher Zuanyi's cultivation? Shaking his head, he stopped thinking about it. Turning his head to look at the king, he said tiredly, Let's talk about it lightly. I think you are very afraid of the frozen demon clan called Kud. Is the other party really that powerful? This is not clear. Don't underestimate Kurd. You may only hear about the Promised Land, but Kurd is the enemy you need to face. He used to be the king of the Realm King continent, and he is very powerful in the starry sky. When I offended the Realm King God, I was suppressed, and then disappeared. I thought I was killed by the Realm King God, but I didn't expect this person to turn his head and join Zamasu. When the real king talked about Kurd, the eyes are a little wrong. Back then, in Kurd's time, the gods of the Realm King continent were overwhelmed and unable to lift their heads. He was indeed a king. If it weren't for the Kaiwang god, no one might be able to turn over now. The only one who can pass is the great Realm King. At that time, the great Realm King was no match, one can imagine it. After Jian Wushuang heard this, he did not change his face and said, As long as the strength is reasonable, there is nothing to be afraid of. I will go to the Realm King continent after I pass the 8th calamity this time. So fast. The Realm King worried, You have reached the realm of 8 tribulations, how much divine power do you have any demigods? Why don't you go to the Realm King continent with Hui Qing after the 9th robbery? As for the limit of the northern time and space, you don't need to listen to Tian Song and the others. I can open up a miniature world for you, enough to practice in it, and enough treasures. Jian Wushuang did not expect the Realm King to care so much about him, and he said so much at once, and he felt a little embarrassed. Cultivation in a small world. Enough treasures. This kind of day he had imagined before. Now really don't have to. No time to fight, it's boring. Thousands of epics have made him lose a lot. I don't want to live that kind of endless time anymore. I still fight again and grow faster. Thank you for the kindness of the King of the Realm, but I want to enter the Realm King continent earlier. Jian Wushuang shook his head and refused. Hearing what the Realm King said about the Promised Land made him want to know the secrets of the starry sky as soon as possible. Enter the starry sky and meet the gods. That scene he imagined. Maybe Teacher Xuanyi is there. Jie Wang also knew Jian Wushuang's character, and without much persuasion, he took out some treasures again and said solemnly, "You are the pride of Bei Shikong, so is Hui Qing, and Wu Zue and the others. I will always support you and enter the world." Before Wang Dalu, at least increase the basic divine power to 30 million, otherwise it will be too dangerous. Shilu isn't that strong, right? Jian Wushuang scratched his head, and then said, "Although Cud is strong, he is a big man, and he won't stare at the 8 Tribulations realm in northern time and space. It's not that exaggerated." "Be careful, that's right." Jie Wang just took out the treasure and stuffed it into Jian Wushuang. In fact, he wanted to say that when he arrived at Jie Wang continent, he couldn't cover Jian Wushuang and the others. Chapter 6137. Must be careful. Falling in the northern time and space, he can still arrange reincarnation, and falling in the realm of the king, then there is really no way. Jian Wushuang nodded. After taking the treasure, he looked at the scruffy face of the king and comforted, "I haven't left yet, and besides, I will hide my breath, and I am not stupid enough to take the initiative to look for it." Serious. At present, this threat will always be staring at him, and the key to the other party's divine power is the same. It is not bad to be able to reach a demigod. It is not a threat to him now, and it will not be a threat after the 8 Tribulations realm. After the Realm King heard it, he was a little embarrassed and said, "Forgot to remind you, Shilu seems to have hooked up with the mechanical clan of Nanshikong. Do you remember the wisdom light brain that you killed? He still has another brother, I'm looking for you, and they have a few metal beings that were teleported away. They have a special way to track you, and their divine power is above the demigods." Ah! Jian Wushuang was taken aback. Before he could ask, the Realm King left in a hurry. No wonder he advised him not to go so early. It turned out that there was more than one threat left at the beginning. And that's not even the pink meatball. There is also the more powerful Kurd, and Zamisu who went to see the trial of the Kaiwang god. The small north time and space has attracted the attention of so many strong people. It is also difficult to be the king of the realm. Jian Wushuang shook his head and sighed lightly. After drinking the last sip of tea, he stood up, standing on the shore and watching the spectacular scene. This place is also a good place to transcend tribulation. Let's transcend tribulation here. The surrounding time and space began to converge, and it didn't stop until it turned into a small hole. He took a step and entered the cave directly. There is nothing in the empty cave, and it is pitch black. Feeling a little monotonous, with a movement of thought force, light appeared. The ground also rises. The mountains stretch to the end. At the end is an endless sea of water. Plant life is readily available. This is his present mastery of time and space. It has reached the point of perfection. Compared with the Realm King, it is not much different. The master of time and space that he thought was at the same level was almost at this level. Sitting cross-legged on top of the mountain, his mind power has already entered his own source starry sky. The 9 perfect origin universes are shining brightly. This is his background. The threshold of crossing the 8th robbery is the 9 origin universes. If you want to cross the 9th robbery, you may need a long river of time and space. God robbery. In the last calamity, once it succeeds, it will become the god of the universe. At that time, what level would he want to achieve? Jian Wushuang took a deep breath, not thinking too much. Adjusting his mentality, countless treasures that replenish divine power and origin float in front of him, and he can choose. The 8th divine scale tribulation began when he picked out the treasures. He has long been accustomed to the pressing and grinding one after another. Divine power was directly smashed from 10 million to 10,000. From 10,000 to 10 million. Repeatedly. The divine power changed from golden to once again. The transformation this time is already close to the turbid color of time and space. Prove that his divine power has reached the level of time and space. Gold is the universe. The turbid color is the level of time and space. Starry sky? Jian Wushuang thought of the power of the starry sky, which is blue. Between hesitations, he cast a super-ancient transformation. The perfect super-eternity change has stabilized. Simple power doubled. Tens of millions of divine powers directly turned into 20 million. When the amount of calamity fell again, the power of turbidity disappeared. The power of blue followed. The divine power of the starry sky was completely embedded in his body. The basic divine power has increased from 10 million to 15 million. It maintains the lowest state of super-eternity, but the hair and breath are blue. In other words, the divine power that he will use at will in the future will be the divine power of the starry sky. Super-eternal change. Jian Wushuang roared angrily. Ha! There was a loud bang, and a powerful wave of divine power erupted in the dark starry sky. The divine power exploded directly to about 30 million. It is much easier than before, and he feels that he has not yet reached the limit, and his breath can still skyrocket, with Broly's original meaning of infinite growth. Divine power has been beating to about 35 million. If the source amplification is used again, although the current divine power is too strong, the strength of the amplification will be reduced, but it can still easily reach about 50 million. This has not yet reached the high calamity, and he has become like this. If the Realm King knows, he should be relieved. Metal life? Serious? Neither is a problem. Even if it is Cud, Jian Wushuang of the 8 Tribulations realm may not be an opponent, but at the 9 Tribulations realm, he is confident to fight. Supreme Calamity. Looking up at the chaotic dragon in the starry sky, the test of the supreme catastrophe has just begun. But this time, he will succeed. When Qishan fell in the 8th calamity, he would not. The calamity of the divine body cost him 100,000 epochs. The highest calamity consumes the best time. After only a few epochs, the Jiaolong was completely beheaded and his origin was stabilized. 8 Tribulations realm. On this day, Ukanshu. Jian Wushuang reached the 8 Tribulations realm, and he was still 1 calamity away from the limit of the Cosmos Master. If it wasn't for transcending the calamity, he would be able to transcend the calamity directly with his current divine power. After stabilizing his realm, Jian Wushuang began to accumulate his basic divine power. This time, 5 million divine powers were added for no reason. And it is the power of the stars. It really gave him a lot of surprises. There are surprises and surprises. He suddenly found that his divine power could not be improved. In other words, the treasures given by the Realm King are useless. This time he panicked. He quickly sent a voice transmission to the Realm King. I thought something happened when I crossed the robbery. When the king heard it, he was also taken aback. After listening to his explanation, I understood. Jian Wushuang, your current divine power is the divine power of the starry sky. Naturally, you need to use the power of the starry sky to supplement the divine power. To enhance the divine power, you also need the treasures of the starry sky. Jian Wushuang then realized that something was wrong here. It cannot be said that he has little knowledge. At the beginning, I mastered the source of the starry sky early, and the time and space to supplement the source was not so picky. Instead, to supplement the starry sky power now, I need starry sky treasures. The treasure that the Realm King gave him would be wasted. Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang felt a little distressed. The Realm King has lost contact, because the treasures of the starry sky are very special and they can't enter the northern time and space at all. In the Realm King continent, it is also a first-class treasure, but he does not have it. Only Jian Wushuang can figure out a way. The basic divine power is only 15 million. Jian Wushuang shook his head, which was much worse. After the 8th robbery, the basic divine power can be increased by 5 million. Chapter 6138. It was a surprise. This was refined from the original Guantian chessboard. Jiejia stayed behind, and Tianyan gave it to Huiqing. That thing really didn't suit him. Originally, he thought that the big head was given to Huiqing, but he did not expect that Jiejia would give him a lot of surprises. Adding 5 million basic divine powers is absolutely magical in the outside world. 20 million basic divine power, the limit of the 8 tribulations realm, and the threshold of the 9 tribulations realm are almost there. Now if he doesn't use the blessing of the source, his divine power will be 40 million. If you use the blessing of the original dojo, it will easily exceed 50 million. Has reached a demigod state. It's also time to leave the northern time and space. He stepped out of the cave world he built, and with a tear, he returned the time and space to the time and space here. It's time to go to Chishin Temple to say goodbye. Left more than 100,000 epics. The Chishin Temple's headquarters in the upper reaches should almost be stabilized. As soon as he went out, he received a voice transmission from Babata. The pattern of upstream spacetime has undergone tremendous changes. Originally, he thought that Hui Qing's crossing the 9th robbery would be very slow. Unexpectedly, a few days ago, it also went out. He became the master of the universe of the 9 tribulations realm, transforming the original cliff time and space into the eternal realm, named Fall Time, also called the Fallen Eternal Realm. Commemorate those powerhouses who fell in the downstream time and space. Only now has the Chishin Temple. The middle and lower reaches are completely unified. The true spirit sits in the lower reaches of time and space, constantly transporting Tianjiao to the middle reaches of time and space. As long as you become the master of the universe, you can go to the middle reaches of time and space. In the middle reaches of time and space, it was handed over to Wuzhua. After becoming the 6 tribulations realm, you can go to the Chishin Temple upstream. So much so that in the time of more than 100,000 epochs of Chishin Temple, the speed of development has crushed the 3 eternal realms. It is now the first force, because Hui Qing is still in the northern time and space. In addition, the background of Qi Temple has also been improved. In the entire northern time and space, the first major force, Qi Temple. Brilliant again. Jian Wushuang took a step forward, and he has reached the outside world of the fallen time and space, where the cliff time and space were now. He was introverted and didn't notify anyone, just wanted to quietly take a look at the current Qi Temple. The Lord of the Universe is everywhere. Cultivating disciples is not only in the middle and lower reaches, but also in the upper reaches, but only very few. It's all elites. Fall in time and space. Qi Shrine is still just a symbol. More of those sect forces. There are thousands of sections. Among them is a sect that evokes Jian Wushuang's thought power. Jianga. Respect the sword. Only recruit super geniuses in the ultimate kendo. It is rumored that he has mastered the strongest swordsmanship in the entire northern time and space. Over the years, even the super families in the 3 eternal realms have entrusted their relationship to send their younger generations here. Everything has to start from Jian Wushuang's killing 3 9 tribulation realms with one sword. It was at that time that Jian Wushuang's name was completely kept in the hearts of the powerhouses of the entire northern time and space. And the pavilion master of the sword pavilion is his direct disciple, Xin Jian. Now Xin Jian, who is already the top powerhouse in the 8 tribulations realm, has come a long way on the road of kendo. Has completely mastered the space-time sword. The star sword depends on his own creation. But even if he mastered the space-time sword, he made a great reputation. Jian Wushuang was very pleased to see that the disciples he left behind were able to carry forward his heritage. Just paused for a while, looked at it for a while, and flew towards the Chishin Temple. What was left, he didn't need to worry about it. If you go, you will feel uncomfortable. I hope that one day, there will be a younger generation who has inherited his swordsmanship and will be able to fight side by side with him. Fallen time and space. Chishin Temple upstream headquarters. Here Hui Qing is in charge of himself. Of course, the deities of many strong people are also here. The deity of the true spirit is downstream, but there are also clones practicing here. Most of the powerhouses left behind in the middle reaches of time and space are clones, and the deity is in the upstream headquarters. After all, this is the eternal world, which is more stable. Moreover, the Qi Temple is now the head of the 4 eternal forces. Staying upstream has more benefits. He entered the Chishin Temple alone, and the interior space was similar to that of the downstream, but it was much larger than the downstream. The 4 secret realms are still the core. But every secret realm is a secret realm at the time and space level. Since the development of Qi Shendian, it has become stronger than before, I don't know how many times. Recalling the original Qi Temple, there was not even a robbery. Up to now, the Cosmos Masters of the 8 Tribulations realm are all over the place. There is also the 9 Tribulations realm. Ha! Jian Wushuang hovered in the void and came to the heaven with one step. The core of the Qishan Temple upstream is still in the heaven. There are countless mountain halls here. Huiqing and Wu Zuo were among them. With a gentle step, he instantly reached the front of the mountain's main hall. Swish! As soon as he entered the Qishan Temple, Huiqing felt his breath. Brother Wushuang, congratulations. Huiqing laughed, obviously celebrating his successful passage of the 8th calamity. Jian Wushuang was a little embarrassed to hear that. He has only survived the 8th robbery. His disciples are all in the 8th robbery. Yu Kanshu www. Is a master himself, and he has just passed the 8th robbery. In fact, he is a little embarrassed to say it. On the other hand, Huiqing had already passed through the 9th robbery in tens of thousands of epochs. Completely become the powerhouse at the top of the universe. Just by feeling Huiqing's breath, he can realize that the other party's divine power has reached the half-god's level. Never weaker than yourself, or even stronger. From the moment he entered Qishan Temple, it seemed that Huiqing was able to keep up with his pace and even surpass him at a certain time. The rest are far worse. The divine power of Wu Zuo and others is average. Although they have reached the point of crossing the 9th robbery, it is a question whether they can pass it all at once. Now they are all waiting to go to the Realm King continent with him. After all, the resources of North Time and Space are limited. Still going out? Congratulations, you haven't seen each other for many years. You are in the 9 Tribulations realm. Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly, lamenting Huiqing's growth rate. The realm and the divine power are suddenly advancing. Huiqing still said modestly as before, it's been tens of millions of epochs, and I have only gone from the limit of the 8 tribulations to the 9 tribulations. Compared with others, it is already very slow. Others? Jian Wushuang was a little curious. Could there be someone faster than them? Just as he was about to ask who it was, he realized that 2 breaths were rising into the sky, and it had already arrived in an instant. Shenmu King. Yushuo. The 2 also reached the 9 tribulations realm. But when he just came, he didn't find it. In just over 100,000 epochs, no one expected to reach the 9 tribulations realm. Looking at it this way, it's my own drag. He alone is still in the 8 tribulations realm. Ha, Wushuang brother, I haven't seen you for many years, but you are still so handsome. The Shenmu King at this time is in high spirits. Chapter 6139. Because he not only has an aura of the 9 tribulations realm, but also a Moyun vine at the 9 tribulations realm level. The combat power is no less than that of a 9 tribulation realm powerhouse. Jian Wushuang was also surprised that there were 2 more 9 tribulations realm. In the bottom of my heart, I can't help but guess whether the other party has stolen any treasures, and they are practicing so fast. Wu Zuo took a deep breath, patted his shoulder, and explained slowly, Wushuang, don't doubt yourself. Shenmu and I were able to successfully break through the 9 tribulations realm because Lord Jiawang took us to a place where there was a treasures can make divine power boil. But do you still know the ray of power that the backbone Luo's disciples got in the abyss? Remember, isn't it the power from the starry sky? He suddenly thought of something. Yes, it's not right because that power did not come from the starry sky, but was born in a super-secret realm in the Realm King continent. That secret realm is a rare starry sky secret realm. There are no more than 10 in the entire Jiawang continent. It is from the starry sky. Moved in, there once sat an unruly power, that is, the superpower of the universe god, which power came from. This time, it's really thanks to Lord Jiawang who helped us get a few places, otherwise it wouldn't be so smooth. King Shenmu said excitedly and clenched his fists. Until now, he still felt like he was dreaming. The second time he crossed the 9th robbery, he didn't expect it to be so smooth. Jian Wushuang heard the meaning of the words, And the feelings were not only between the two of them. Anyone else? How could such a good thing not be his turn? He went through the 8th robbery bitterly, and couldn't even find a starry sky treasure. The Realm King turned his head and gave them such a great opportunity. My greatest hero, no matter how I look at it, looks like a decoration. But even if he went, he wouldn't be able to directly cross the 9th robbery. But I want to know how many people have gone this time. Their strength is also good for themselves. When encountering difficulties, they will never let themselves go to the top alone. Who else has become the 9 Tribulations realm? Huiqing, Shenmu Wang, Wu Zue. Another 3 newly promoted 9 Tribulations realm. Together with Tian Song and the others, there are already 6. As for the 8 Tribulations realm, that's too much. There will be more 9 Tribulations realm in the future. After all, the universe will be born, and at that time, the northern time and space will truly reach its peak. There's another one, you know it too. The king of Shenmu looked at him and said with a smile, "It's Wu Li, I can hear him tell you a lot about your past." Wu Li. Jian Wushuang also laughed. Didn't expect it to be this guy. I thought that after the other party hugged Dan Bao's thigh, he had already forgotten about him. After so many years, he came to see him once. But I can't blame the other party, or he has no time and has been in retreat. Not long after leaving the customs, he went to retreat again to pass the tribulation. Unexpectedly, as soon as they came out, everyone surpassed themselves and became the 9 Tribulations realm. It was indeed a lot of fun. Go in and talk. Wu Zue realized at this time that they were still standing outside the hall, and hurriedly pulled Jian Wushuang into the hall. It didn't take long for them to become the 9 Tribulations realm, and they just stabilized the realm. He is planning to go to the King's continent. This is what Jian Wushuang thought together. Realm King continent. Only Jian Wushuang has not been there, and the rest have been there several times. Especially Wu Zue, who has been running to the Realm King continent all these years. Although the place he went to was only a miniature universe of the Realm King, it can be seen that there is much more knowledge than them. Wushuang, you haven't been to the Realm King continent. Let me explain some of the layout of the Jiawang continent to you first. Wu Zue raised his head slightly, paused and said, "The Realm King continent, as the name suggests, is a continent, but you can't underestimate this continent, because its space is larger than the 4 major dimensions combined, the number of strong people is comparable to a world in the stars, and the number of cosmic gods is all many, even the gods of the various time and space, are very low-key in the Realm King continent and generally do not manage, and they are the biggest gods of the universe. You can ask Wu Li about this. He went to the Realm King continent under the name of Dan Bao and was almost beaten to death." Jian Wushuang gasped when he heard this, and nodded silently. This kind of thing Wu Li can do it. This time we went to the Realm King continent, which belongs to a big world outside the Jiawang universe. In fact, it is not a secret world. It is a site occupied by a demigod powerhouse called Zhalong Mountain. The Realm King took us there. The secret realm of time and space is right on the edge of Zhalong Mountain. Let's go to Zhalong Mountain first, make a little fame, and then go to the Starry Sky secret realm. Wu Zue has already planned all the plans and is just waiting to set off. The plan sounds good. Back then, I had already visited the secret realm of the Starry Sky, but the treasures I got were very few. Compared with the powerhouses of the Realm King continent, they were pitiful. So Wu Zue and others want to go again. Huiqing has never been there, neither has Jian Wushuang. No reason not to go. No problem. Shenmu Wang was the first to agree. Huiqing also nodded, and he didn't have any good places to go. It's better to follow Wu Zue for a while. But Jian Wushuang has something on his mind. Before leaving, collect the beast soldiers. He had already told the Realm King about this matter, but there was no news. There is also the enemy of the Realm King continent. The threat of Shilu must be eliminated as soon as possible. The growth rate of the other party is not slow. In the northern time and space, it has grown to that point. When it comes to the Realm King continent, with the help of Zamas, maybe the divine power has also reached the level of a demigod. Fix it early. After telling his thoughts, Wu Zue seemed to be prepared and said, "Brother Wushuang, this matter is not yours alone. I have asked Danbao to find a friend to inquire what you are looking for. The beast god soldier, by coincidence, was living near Zhalong Mountain. This time, it happened to help you find the beast god soldier. As for Xylus' other metal life, you can put your mind on it, even if you let them come one and he'll kill one. Wu Zue is very confident in his own divine power. After becoming the 9 Tribulations realm, the basic divine power has been raised to 30 million. In addition to practicing Jia Wangquan, the peak divine power can break through 40 million. There is indeed crazy capital. Jian Wushuang saw this and had no opinion. Since everyone has no opinion, then leave in 3 days, say goodbye, and clean up, and gather here in 3 days. Yep. The crowd nodded. Separate each other. Although King Shenmu was the protector of the Guyu sect, he had been staying in the Qi temple. He didn't make Guyu time and space into the eternal realm. This was because his ancient Wood sect was gone. At that time, although the ancient Wood sect was recreated, it was shattered again in the subsequent disputes, so he had no choice but to bring the remnants to join the ancient Moon sect, but after all, there was no sense of belonging. Chapter 6140. If it weren't for the fact that he entered the Realm King continent, he would be ready to go directly to the Qi temple. But now that it has become the 9 Tribulations realm, the layout should also be larger. There is no need to stare at the 3 acres of land in the northern time and space. It has been silent for so many years, not because of the prosperity of the north time and space, but for the new chapter of the King's continent. Wu Zue is also the same. Since Qi Temple reached its peak, he has not intervened in development. He retreats all day by himself. This time he just says goodbye and will leave. Speaking of which, this is similar to Hui Qing and Jian Wushuang. It's just that Jian Wushuang has one more thing. That is to ask Shang and Luo to talk about the beast soldiers. As soon as the thought force moved, he realized that the two were not in the Qishan temple, but in a secret realm in the ancient moon spacetime. The strength of Shang and Luo is also good, but it is still a little far from the 9 Tribulations realm, and it is very good to be able to reach the 8 Tribulations realm in these years. This also shows that the true spirit's vision is enough, even without the help of the Realm King. It is not a problem to give Shang enough time to reach the 7 Tribulations realm, plus the later opportunity, the 8 Tribulations realm is achieved. As for the 9 Tribulations realm, it depends on personal creation. Jinling is no longer able to help any of them. Now he is guarding the old site of Qishan Temple. I heard that a continent with the same time and space as Morua was created, and a new journey is being started. They all have their own way. Just like Shang and Luo, they are roaming in a secret realm. Swish. Jian Wushuang ripped apart the time and space at will, and took a step to reach the ancient moon time and space. At a glance, he penetrated the secret realm of time and space. Without any hindrance, he just wandered into the most threatening secret realm in the ancient moon spacetime. Before entering, I still greeted the merchant. However, he did not directly say anything about the beast soldier. This time, after he crossed the calamity, he mastered the divine power of the starry sky, and he left behind a lot of treasures, enough to exchange the beast divine soldiers in the hands of the merchants. Still have to ask sideways. Originally, this matter was done by Jinling, but now it is impossible to pretend to be stupid. Still leave the problem to him. Swish. Come on. Shang wiped the red blood on his body, and smiled when he saw Jian Wushuang. The same goes for Luo next to him. The two are also well-known Taoist companions in the northern time and space. They are in pairs with the same strength and the same background. This kind of immortal Taoist companion, even if it is not as powerful as Jian Wushuang, is a rare pair of stories. Widespread. Long time no see. Jian Wushuang also nodded politely. In fact, his relationship with Shang was not that good. Although some have seen the outside world, he is still his own person. When the three met, they first reminisced about the past, and talked about the changes in Qi Temple over the years. But I didn't talk about it at length. Soon Shang talked about the topic and said the key point. I heard that Wu Zue is already packing up his belongings. It seems that you are preparing to leave the northern time and space. Well, 3 days later. Jian Wushuang nodded, his tone suddenly lost the excitement of parting, but a little sad. Seeing this, Luo smiled and said, "Brother Wushuang, he should not be indecisive. A man born between heaven and earth, how can he be nostalgic for a gentle place?" "That's right, cheer up, you are not representing yourself, but northern time and space." Shang wiped the dirt on his hand and took out a mustard seed with his backhand. "Since he is leaving, he has everything." Saying that, he threw the mustard seeds to Jian Wushuang. Well, Jian Wushuang was a little surprised, and he caught the mustard seed in a daze, with two great beast soldiers suspended in it. Jiang Liang's spear, Phoenix Feather Spear. Before he even opened his mouth, Shang gave him both treasures. This made Jian Wushuang a little embarrassed. When he wanted to explain, he was interrupted by Shang. "Needless to say, it's not Lord Jinling, and it's not what other people said. How could you hide from us that you are looking for beast soldiers all over the world? We are on the beast magic weapon. Not long ago, my divine power reached 15 million. Lord Realm gave us a pair of more perfect semi-divine weapons. This beast magic weapon is no longer usable." Thinking of the personality of Lord Jinling, Jian Wushuang's eyes turned red, and he couldn't help laughing when he heard the last sentence. With Zenling's character, I'm afraid he would have to extort him before he waved his hand. He took a deep breath and took out a mustard seed. Just as he was about to hand it over, Shang turned his head directly, turned his back to him, and said, "Don't take it, I want it, the treasure is mine. It's not lacking, I'm here just to exercise my muscles and bones. Hurry up, those disciples of yours should want to see you again, they haven't seen you for so many years, don't catch up with this old friend of mine." This? Jian Wushuang turned his head and smiled, and his heart was relieved. He thinks of friendship simply, and he thinks of strong people simply. These treasures are very precious, but strong people with dignity will not want them. They want to rely on their own strength to get everything. But the void is split open, Ukanshu. He waved his hand gently, and his figure slowly disappeared. It was only then that Shang turned his head and said with a smile, "Don't slack off, I will soon bring Qi Shindian into the Realm King continent. I'm waiting for you." Beast God Soldier, the 7th Jiang Liang Spear, and the 8th Phoenix Feather Spear reset. Jian Wushuang was completely worn on his body, and the origin of the beast began to automatically merge. At this time, he looked like a real beast god. Wearing a vermilion bird crown, the eyes of the beast between the eyebrows shone brightly. That is the eye of the candle dragon. The wings on the back spread out and danced with the unicorn cloak. Petal blue dragon boots. Gently clasping the wolf mask, Tao, on his face, an ancient aura of beast gods burst out. The power of the beast god. What? He clenched his fist and exploded, and the basic divine power of 20 million in divine power exploded directly to 30 million. A full increase of millions. This has reached the limit of the origin of the beast god. There is no way, after all, there is still one piece missing, and there is no refining beast magic weapon, which plays very little. And can't stack. Once the super eternal transformation is cast, the beast divine soldier may not be able to withstand that kind of power, and it will shatter directly. Don't worry, I will find a cosmic to help me refine it when I have gathered the 9 great beasts, and then the power of the beast at that time can be superimposed with the super ancient transformation. And he can also take the opportunity to create a stronger super eternal change. But these are later stories. The next time, he said goodbye one by one. Before leaving Guyu Shikong, he still left some treasures for the Emperor Yunji and the Empress Feng Qin. The origin of the super eternal change is indispensable for these two people. The Lord Yunji had the grace of giving guidance, and he would have to go through many detours without that guidance. Chapter 6141. The female Emperor Feng Qin gave him enough pressure. Let him face so many wild beasts at the bottom of the Roman River alone. In the end, it broke out and performed a super ancient change. Actually, there is one more person to thank. Too bad no one is there. They just lit 3 sticks of incense and placed them in the Roman River, carried by a canoe. Everlasting. After dealing with this, he also went to see his 3 disciples. Through the introduction of the 3 people, I got to know some Tianjiao in the Jiang'a. In the face of those juniors, he can only send one sentence: the future can be expected. Then floated away. Even the simple 4 words made those little guys extremely excited, and they were motivated to practice. For 3 days he almost spent his farewell. In the last hour, he went to see Zhenling, the original leader, also a teacher. Although there is prejudice in the early stage and he is not used to him, after all, it is relying on his own efforts to make the other party recognize his excellence. Master True Spirit. The true spirit here is just a clone, fishing on a canoe in the middle of a spirit lake. Jian Wushuang's voice was very soft, and he slowly sat beside the boat, waiting for the true spirit to speak. The two were silent for a long time. I don't know if the real spirit is really fishing, or I don't know what to say. He also knew that Jian Wushuang was leaving. Also left are his proudest Hui Qing and Kishin's only seedling Wu Zue. These 3 are the closest people. This parting is far from the beginning. It may be hundreds of millions of years, or several reincarnations. Have you brought everything? Packed up? Yep. The words fell into silence again. Jian Wushuang sat down on the edge of the boat without saying a word. An hour passed quickly. Not long after, Hui Qing and Wu Zue also came. Only then did Jian Wushuang understand that he had to wait for everyone to speak before he spoke. But after Hui Qing and Wu Zue got on the boat, they still didn't mean to speak. Been waiting. The appointed time has come. It's time to go. Wu Zue reminded in a low voice. Zhenling heard it, just blinked, and said with a smile, "Be careful when you get there, no one will give you the bottom line." Must. The 3 of them stood up together and disappeared into the lake together. The true spirit left alone, but his eyes were red, and he sighed, "Alas, after all, I can't keep it, and I don't want to accompany this old man too much." Read novel, Ugh. With a long sigh, the picture shattered. Outside the Qi temple, countless people said goodbye. Jian Wushuang, Hui Qing, Wu Zue, Shenmu Wang. After Qi looked back, he resolutely crushed the Jie Wang Ling time and space vibrate. With everyone's gaze, Jian Wushuang and the others completely disappeared in the northern time and space. The people in Qishan Temple also dispersed. Start your own way. In the northern time and space, as far as the eye can see, the stars are dotted. What the weak see is endless danger. What Jian Wushuang and the others saw was peaceful. But this time, the Realm King continent, who looked up at the starry sky, presented them with infinite challenges. The 4 figures paused, and after a moment of discomfort, they arrived at a familiar hall. Immortal Temple. Jian Wushuang said in surprise, "The location of the teleportation is actually here." "Ha, you brother Wushuang, you are finally here." Just as he fell, he heard a familiar voice. It was Wu Li. He followed Dan Bao to the Realm King continent, and it was really good. Compared with the Lord of Hengmu left behind, it is simply better than Blue. It has reached the level of the 9 tribulations realm. Mind-moving. In the Temple of Immortality, there are 2 familiar breaths from Sinuk. They also walked out of the hall together and came to the outside of the hall. Brother Wushuang. Jian Wushuang. Dan Bao and Blue also came over. Several people have not seen each other for a long time, and they were very excited to meet just now. He also took a few people to the temple together and tasted the good wine and delicious food of the God realm. That's where the plan for this time comes. 5 people. He, Hui Qing, Wu Zue, Shenmu Wu. Things to do together. The area where the Temple of Immortality is located is called the Star Field of the Gods, speaking of which, it is the core of the Realm King continent. It's a pity that it's gone now, because the God of time and space has only mastered one way after all. It can't compare to the universe gods born by practitioners. Therefore, the star field of the gods also declined. There are almost no people and there are no attractive secrets. Today, the core of Jiewang continent is still the gods' domain, where there are many cosmic gods. It is the place where the strong gather. With the gift of the gods' star field, Bruce has cultivated his divine power to the level of a demigod. Although the realm is average, he has 45 million divine power. He talked about some of the things that happened in the Realm King continent recently. God's domain. After Jian Wushuang heard it, he felt that it was too dangerous, and he was not suitable to go now. The opportunity at hand is enough for him to fight. Blue's voice was gentle. I only heard about it recently. It seems that there is an extraordinary being who has descended on the divine realm. In recent days, it has not been peaceful there. Cosmic gods have fallen. What? Wu Zuo was startled when he heard it. The universe gods have fallen. That must not go to the realm of the gods. The confidence that had just become the Nine Tribulations realm was suddenly shattered. If this happens, they will be finished with any fluctuation. Just like what the real spirit said, no one gave them the bottom line this time. The relationships of the realm king are not enough. In the northern time and space, it is difficult to keep them, let alone the realm king continent. Seeing Wu Zuo like this, Jian Wushuang swallowed what he was about to say. The powerhouse who has just come to God's domain is likely to be the Kyud who left the northern time and space. If Wu Zuo knew about this, he would be scared to go back directly. Fortunately, Cud has just returned, and there is no time to pay attention to them. After Cud stood firm, they almost had the ability to protect themselves. After having a general understanding of the Realm King continent, Jian Wushuang couldn't wait to prepare to go to Xiaolong Mountain. They don't have much time. As soon as he came, he felt a strong cause and effect coming towards him. Maybe metal life. You can only feel a trace of cause and effect, but you cannot perceive the divine power of the other party. Strength will not be weak. As for Shilu, he couldn't feel it, either he cut off the cause and effect, or he was much stronger than him. No matter what the possibility is, don't take it lightly. Let's go now. Dan Bao was a little surprised that he didn't expect Jian Wushuang to leave so soon, and quickly took out a jade slip and lowered it. This is a map that I asked for you from that prophet friend. According to the above, it should be possible to find the location of the last beast weapon. After Jian Wushuang heard it, he was stunned for a moment. The prophet? This is similar to Huiking's deduction, and the Realm King continent is indeed full of surprises. Chapter 6142. N. Dan Bao nodded and said, by the way, which prophet friend is also very curious about the beast magic weapon, and he is also the master of casting gods, and the universe gods are looking for him to refine. If you have gathered the beast magic weapons, you can come back. Find me. I'll take you to the prophet to help you refine the beast magic weapon. As soon as he arrived, he heard a huge piece of good news, and Jian Wushuang's frowned. Kindness without saying thanks. It is time for the prophet to leave for Xiaolong Mountain. After waving goodbye, the five of them jumped down from the immortal temple together. The temple is high in the sky, floating. Below is the mainland. After jumping down together, only Jian Wushuang felt a little uncomfortable. Because the Realm King continent is too stable, the gravity is very strong. Ordinary space-time life can't reproduce here. Only the mortals of the Realm King continent can survive. And the space here is so solid that it is hard to tear. The only way to travel is to fly. Fortunately, Jian Wushuang has a pyramid. Babata. One command. The five have not yet landed. Entered the pyramid. Swish. Rest cabin. Wu Li found a seat and lay down directly, and said comfortably, it's better to lie down, flying in the Realm King continent is too tiring. That's because you're too lazy. Wu Zuo rolled his eyes, frowned and said, no, I said whether you can do it. Don't enter Xiaolong Mountain, you can't deal with those people. Don't worry. Wu Li was confident. This time, the Zalongshan operation. The first goal is to search for the beast soldiers for Jian Wushuang, and the second goal is to follow the young master of Xiaolong Mountain to a space-time canyon, also looking for a treasure. But they don't know what that treasure is. Wu Li took the lead in finding this matter. A lot of pay. The requirement is a strong person with 30 million divine powers, the more the better. Beast God Soldier. Jian Wushuang stood aside and held the jade slip in his hand to explore the map. At the same time, let Wu Li tell Babata the location. Xiaolong Mountain. Same location. The position marked on the jade slip is Xiaolong Mountain. Wu Li's next task is also the reconciliation of Xiaolong Mountain. Maybe there will be 2 delays. It will take 12,000 years to turn on the speed of the universe from Xiaolong Mountain. Jian Wushuang heard Babada's report, and everyone was stunned. The speed of the universe is 1/3 of his deity. In other words, it would take him 4,000 years to fly at full speed to reach Xiaolong Mountain, the location of the immortal temple, on the border of the god's star domain. Speaking of which, Xiaolong Mountain is actually the sphere of influence of the immortal temple. It's a pity that Danbao's strength is not enough, and people are too good to talk. The demigod of Xiaolong Mountain has been occupying it all the time, and he has no intention of moving away. What Wu Li was looking for this time was to help the son of Xiaolong Mountain Master to find a treasure. I heard that it is still a trial of the rite of passage. It is said that it is a coming-of-age ceremony, and it is possible that the cultivation time is much longer than that of them. That is a good father. Having just become the master of the universe of the Nine Tribulations realm, he was able to go to the canyon of time and space. The strength will not be worse than them. The demigod on Xiaolong Mountain is not simple, and his direct descendants will not be bad either. Being able to occupy the edge of the god's star field for so many years, without any strength, I am afraid that he will be driven away by Bru. Brother Wushuang, don't worry about the matter of the beast magic weapon, which young master and I are also considered to be brothers. This time, it is purely to help. When we are done, I will ask for a beast magic weapon. It's not too much. Wu Li's eye, it is very simple to say things aside. Jian Wushuang shook his head and smiled bitterly. If only it were that simple. At that time, he will set up a few tables, and it will be no problem to marry each other. Will the key go so well? 12,000 years have passed in an instant. Through the pyramid they also saw Xiaolong Mountain, the majestic mountains soaring into the sky. There is also this wild ancient city below, and the breath is extremely amazing. The lair of the demigods. To be so exaggerated, Jian Wushuang also felt a bit outrageous. Ordinarily, his strength should be similar to the opponent. Is it possible to get a place too? After thinking about it, forget it. He still has enemies chasing him, and getting a territory is also a burden. Here, go to Qingshui Hall in Dongqing, where is young master Hung Long waiting for us. Wu Li manipulated the pyramid and entered the ancient city directly, throwing out a few Hunyuan stones and a token. Just wanting to stop the pyramid, the guards saw the token of Xiaolong Mountain, left and retreated. Wu Li was very proud of this and said with a smirk, "This time, thanks to this pyramid, it usually takes 1,000,000 years for me to fly here, but this time it will be 10,000 years." Jian Wushuang heard the words and sighed. Originally, I thought that the other party should stay in a larger situation in the Realm King continent, but I didn't expect it to be the same as before. It's nothing. He flew at full speed, and if he used the blessing of the source, he might not need it for 1,000 years. Without using the source, it is possible to reach Xiaolong Mountain in 4,000 years. No way, the Realm King continent is too big, and the space is too stable to tear through the space. In fact, their speed is slowed down. Xiaolong Mountain originally belonged to the god's star domain. After leaving Xiaolong Mountain, it is another star field. There are countless star fields in the entire Realm King continent, but many have been destroyed, and there are very few star fields that can survive. Around the star field of the gods, that is, outside Xiaolong Mountain, is a star field that was almost destroyed. Silver Blue Star region, it is also the star field of the Starry Sky secret realm that Wu Zhuo and others went to. In the secret realm of the Starry Sky, the fallen cosmic was originally the emperor of the Silver Blue Star field. After the fall, the Silver Blue Star field also did not fall, but now there are also several cosmic gods. Every star field has a cosmic god, but the number is different. There are only 4 cosmic gods in the relatively weak Silver Blue Star field, and their strength is average among the same rank, but they are not big figures that Jian Wushuang and the others can provoke. Now they are facing a demigod, and they are all cautious. No way, some demigods are very hidden. The threshold for a demigod is 40 million. That is the threshold in time and space. The threshold of the Realm King continent is 45 million. This is just the threshold, not that the demigods are so strong. Just like the fact that millions of divine powers were the threshold of the 7 tribulations realm. No one would believe that the other party has only 1 million divine powers. Maybe it is a heaven-defying existence, with 50 or 60 million divine power. There are even some heaven-defying demigods with hundreds of millions of divine powers. That is the super strong. However, Xiaolong Mountain Master does not have this strength. It should be about the same as his peak state. It's just that it's not easy to use the power of thought to probe, otherwise you have to see what's right. If the divine power is similar, he can completely go to the other party and buy the beast's divine weapon. If the strength is not enough, let's honestly curry favor with that brother of Wu Li. Chapter 6143. Just came to the Realm King continent, it is better to keep a low profile. The size of the pyramid gradually shrank, passed through the prohibition above the city, and stayed above a clean hall. A metal plate slowly fell from below the pyramid. The 5 people headed by Wu Li slowly walked down from the metal plate. As soon as it came, a voice came from the hall. The tone was extremely polite, and the figure came out of the hall in an instant. "Brother Wu Li, you really made me wait." A handsome young man in a white robe walked out of the hall and greeted him. The other party just appeared, and Jian Wushuang changed carefully to investigate with his mind power. Conventional divine power is around 30 million. Just breaking through, there are 30 million divine powers. The Xiaolong Mountain Master obviously valued this son very much and gave him a lot of resources. You know, these Realm King's baby bumps are also treated like this. Although the Real King does not have a deity, his combat power is like air, but he has connections and treasures. This is much stronger than a demigod. The identity of the other party, the young master of Xiaolong Mountain, is comparable to that of the disciples of the Realm King, which is already very good. The basic divine power is 30 million. If the magical power is stronger, the explosion of divine power to 38 million is not a problem. With the identity of the opponent, with some treasures, 40 million divine power is available. Jian Wushuang, the 5 of them, all have more than 40 million divine powers. The basic divine power, except for himself, who only has 20 million, the rest of the people are 30 million at the bottom, and Wu Li has raised it to about 35 million. No one is weaker than the other. This also made Jian Wushuang breathe a sigh of relief. Their hidden power is stronger than the other parties, and they can solve some emergencies. Wu Li's side staged a brotherhood with the other party that he had not seen for many years. The two embraced each other and sighed with emotion. "Brother misses you so much when we parted in the past." This acting, compared with the original, is still a bit down, Jian Wushuang secretly sighed. Under the surprised eyes of everyone, Wu Li also felt that it was almost the same, so he let go of the other party and began to introduce Jian Wushuang and others to young Master Honglong. "Come on, these are the arrogance of the gods in the star field. If I'm not here in the future, I will ask them to do anything. It's the same." Wu Li said big words, as if the gods' star field is their home. Jian Wushuang smiled bitterly to himself and could only nod his head. Young Master Honglong, who is also a happy person, immediately waved his hand and ordered the servants, "Go, let Brother Shangyang and Elder Zhuge come, and say to welcome the distinguished guests. Please." After instructing the servants, he smiled and invited everyone into the hall very politely. From this point of view, the other party is not the kind of who likes to make friends and friendship. It was beyond his expectations, and he also glanced at Wu Ligao, but finally he didn't find a hustler to get him. "Enter the hall and take your seats." Jian Wushuang's apparent strength is the lowest, although the other side of the realm can't see it, but the divine power can be felt, and he doesn't need to pretend to be deep to hide the divine power. It's okay to look at the realm lake. The 20 million divine power was boldly leaked out. Among them, the weakest one naturally sat at the end and listened to Wu Li's slap on them from above. Young Master Honglong also politely toasted them one by one, and talked a lot about Xiaolong Mountain during the banquet. It also made Jian Wushuang understand that the practitioners in the Realm King continent were also under a lot of pressure. Let's just say this young Master Honglong, his 7 brothers, died. There are 2 older brothers left. On the smallest. Both brothers are in the 9 tribulations realm. Divine power is stronger than him. In this Zolongshan territory, it is hard to say whose turn will be in the future. His father, the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. A demigod powerhouse and an older demigod. Now it is planning to escape the calamity. God robbery, that's no joke. When transcending the calamity, it is earth-shattering, there is no need to hide anything. But in case of failure, there must be an incoming. 3 sons, countless disciples. One must be chosen. As for the disciple, put it aside for now. After all, my son is not dead. And the remaining 3 sons are all excellent. Especially the youngest son, Hong Long. The training time is the shortest, but the strength is good, and it has also received a special inheritance. It is the most expected to accept Zhalong Mountain. The main thing is character. Can accommodate people. Make friends with the quartet, and be righteous for others. Giving Zhalong Mountain to his younger son, he is also relieved. So the investment is big. Master Hong Long also worked hard to live up to his father's expectations. This trial in the canyon of time and space can be said to be the final trial. Once you get that treasure and use that treasure to cultivate 1,000,000 epics, your divine power can reach the threshold of a demigod, and then you will be able to take over Zhalong Mountain. Let the old lord go to the tribulation with confidence. Everyone knew each other, and after chatting for less than a quarter of an hour, there was a sound outside the hall. After a while, 2 figures walked in at the same time. The appearance of a young boy, his demeanor is frivolous, his appearance is handsome, he is not inferior to young Master Hong Long at all, but compared with Jian Wushuang, he is a lot inferior. The other one, who looked like an old man with many folds and ravines on his face, should be the elder Zhuge in the mouth of young Master Hong Long. Just by looking at his face, you can see that this elder Zhuge has experienced a lot. The basic divine power alone is around 36 million. Peak combat power may have reached the threshold of a demigod. Not an ordinary strongman. Come on, let me introduce to you, this is my guest Qing from Zhalong Mountain, brother Shangyang, with a peak divine power of more than 40 million at a young age, and this one is my elder of Zhalong Mountain, elder Zhuge, who once followed my father, has been around for many years, and he should have reached the age of Qingxiu, but this time because of the space-time canyon, he still wants to disturb this elder Zhuge. The young Master Hong Long introduced the 2 powerhouses solemnly. But Jian Wushuang could hear from his words that these 2 were not his own. In other words, it is not someone from young Master Hong Long. Kuqing Sheng just bowed his hands to them with a smile on his face. As a Kuqing, it was right to give the owner a face. But which elder Zhuge found a place, just bowed his hand at young Master Hong Long, then took a seat at will, closed his eyes and rested. Although young Master Hong Long was a little embarrassed, he didn't blame him. After all, he was an old minister. Then he changed the topic and talked about the cracks in time and space. Speaking of which, the space-time crack was a treasure discovered by his father. There will be some treasures floating in it. Every 100,000 epochs are opened, and some treasures will be accumulated. However, when it was opened, they still went to Zolongshan to search. This kind of fat is poor, but it can't be anyone else's turn. There are treasures and dangers. Some monsters that have fallen into time and space will also enter the crack of time and space. Chapter 6144. Relatively powerful, even to the level of a demigod. This time, he went to the crack of time and space because his father told him that there was a great treasure floating in the crack of time and space. After getting the treasure, not only can you quickly become a demigod, but you can also protect the divine body. If he fails, this matter will be given to his 2 brothers. So it must be successful. To this end, he did not hesitate to dig an elder and a guest from his father's side. As for himself, he also has several cronies, and he is also a crony specially arranged by his father by his side. They are all disciples of the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. The peak power is about 40 million, and there are 6 people. A team to protect him. He originally planned to bring these people in, but when he heard that Wu Li brought his friends to join in the fun, he readily agreed. The treasure in the crack of time and space, he only needs that one, and he cannot want the rest. It was also the first time that Wu Li heard about the crack in time and space. After hearing it, There was a hint of greed in his eyes, but he hid it well. He turned his head and glanced at Jian Wushuang and the others, and laughed loudly. Then everyone, come with me and my brother for a trip. For the treasures of the cracks in time and space, everyone is not very concerned about it. I just want to do the other party a favor, so that Jian Wushuang can ask for that beast magic weapon. But after hearing the origin of the space-time crack, several of them began to transmit voices to each other, each like a greedy wolf. The 100,000 era of the fissure of time and space can be opened once, and some floating treasures can be fierce. So how many treasures did the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain, the first to discover the crack in time and space, get? The number is probably unimaginable. And since the Lord of Zelangshan occupied this place, he has been extremely low-key, which is different from his previous personality. He even gave up the right to the territory and gave full power to his subordinates, and has been in retreat. I'm afraid it's because I got a lot of treasures, I don't want to care about any territory, and sprint directly to the universe god. If they thought about the same thing, they were all afraid of poverty, and now they heard that Xiaolong Mountain was still a treasure, and they all moved their minds. Forget it, we just came here. Besides, this young Master Honglong looks good to me, don't make this idea. Jian Wushuang hurriedly called to stop, fearing that they were too out of line. Those treasures are indeed tempting, and there may be a large number of starry sky treasures that can help him improve his basic divine power, as well as treasures that improve his origin. He might be able to sit and go to the 9th robbery. But compared with the beast soldier, he still thinks farther and is more stable. The key point is that young Master Honglong did not hide these secrets from them. Apparently it's no longer a secret. There are probably a lot of people who have this idea. Near Xiaolong Mountain, there are many demigod territories. Even in the domain of the god of the universe, no one else was tempted, and they got excited through it. Not that simple. Cough cough, let's take a long-term plan, get the beast magic weapon first. Wu Li also paused, and sent the voice transmission to everyone. At the wine table, Jian Wushuang happened to be talked about at this time. Wu Li took the opportunity to suppress him a little. My little brother, my strength is really not very good. This time I will rise up the world. Wu Li sat on the top, like a big brother, looking at the Shenmu king very unhappy. In the past, the opponent would have been torn down long ago. In terms of seniority, King Shenmu is the eldest brother. In terms of strength, it is also Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing. At this time can only endure. Jian Wushuang doesn't matter, he was Wu Li's nephew at the beginning, and he even traced back to the origin. When he was reincarnated in the Wu family, he had to call Wu Li his ancestor. These are all jokes too. Wu Li took advantage of this opportunity and asked, by the way, Brother Honglong, that shop in Xiaolong City has treasures that contain the power of the starry sky. I just need some this time. Then you are asking the right person. Brother Shangyang is the person in charge of the largest shop in Xiaolong City. You have to ask him this. Jian Wushuang was overjoyed. He didn't expect Wu Li to remember what he said. The first is the lack of beasts, and the second is the lack of treasures containing the power of the starry sky. But as soon as these words came out, it caught the attention of the elder Zhuge. He glanced at Wu Li coldly. Seeing Wu Li, his figure froze. If the opponent is not the elder of Xiaolong Mountain, he has to be pulled out and beaten. So arrogant. When you reach the crack in time and space and encounter a terrifying monster, you must calculate the other party. The entire Xiaolong city is gone. Elder Zhuge said in a cold voice. Just yesterday, it was bought out by a group of bandits from the Star region. Star Bandit? This is the first time Jian Wushuang and the others have heard it. However, Wu Li pretended to understand and asked, the bandits in the star field, they dare to appear in the star field of the gods, and they are far away, I will tell my uncle, it must be suppressed. Humph! Elder Zhuge sneered, they have 4 demigods, have you killed them? Young Master Honglong frowned, and also felt that this elder was a bit too much. Taking the opportunity to change the subject. Star Bandit. It is a super force formed by a group of loose cultivators who are wandering between the major star fields. This force is very loose in combination, but as long as it is the ending group, it is very terrifying. Except for the territory of the universe god, they all dare to steal. Even to snatch. Therefore, the general demigod territory, let alone provoking it, is afraid of coming. However, the group of Starfield bandits who came to Zolongshan were still winking. They knew that the Lord of Zolongshan was not easy to mess with, and they didn't stop. They just bought the treasures containing the power of the stars in the shop and left. After Jian Wushuang heard about it, he didn't dare to rise up in the Starfield bandits, but he was very interested in the guy who wanted to buy a treasure containing the power of the starry sky. Buy this much at once. Either there are treasures containing the power of the starry sky to use, or they have practiced some kind of starry sky secret technique. Or mastered the power of the starry sky, or the source of the starry sky. He is the last one. Not only mastered the power of the starry sky, but also mastered the power of the starry sky. Generally, they are masters of the divine power of the starry sky, and those who can master the divine power of the starry sky are also very rare. If so, it can only be said that he was lucky this time. Metacolleague. All have mastered the power of the starry sky, and to enhance the power of the starry sky requires treasures that contain the power of the starry sky. Jian Wushuang voiced this matter to everyone. Remind them to be careful. This group of Starfield bandits may not be easy. Plus the previous time and space cracks and his guesses. If it is really a guy who has mastered the divine power of the starry sky, maybe he really dares to attack Zolongshan. Everyone chatted until it was dark. At the same time, they also agreed on a time to set off in the early morning of tomorrow. Jian Wushuang, who originally wanted to turn around in Zhalong City, also chose to stay behind closed doors and prepare for tomorrow's departure. Chapter 6145. Several of them lived in the same hall. However, there was no one in the hall that belonged to them. There is only one triangular pyramid. Call. After entering this place, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. Crack in time and space. Hui Qing, what do you think? Jian Wushuang threw this matter to Hui Qing. He said the least, but he should still have ideas. They are not discussing how to Zhalong Mountain, but the origin of the crack in time and space. After Hui Qing heard it, she expressed her opinion. The crack in this time and space should be similar to the abyss in the northern time and space, but the time and space crack here is stronger than the one in the northern time and space. King Shenmu asked back, how do you say this? Everyone also looked at Hui Qing. Brother Wushuang, are you sure that the beast god soldier is in Zhalong Mountain? Definitely, and it's probably in the hands of a Zolongshan lord. Jian Wushuang nodded and said, although he didn't dare to sense it, but the map of the prophet that Danbao gave him was Zolongshan. If it was in Zhalong City, he would have discovered it long ago. If it is on Zhalong Mountain, a treasure that flows from the northern time and space, it is highly likely that the Lord of Zhalong Mountain will get it. After Hui Qing heard the exact answer, he gave a conclusion. Simple. The beast soldier, very pit, drifted through the cracks in time and space, and happened to be obtained by the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. 100,000 epochs are very short. It is opened every 100,000 epochs, and the lords of Zhalong Mountain go to search for treasures. Opportunities are rarely reserved for younger generations. This time, it was just a test for young Master Honglong. Moreover, the Lord of Zolongshan is so sure that he has a semi-artifact. Obviously, he has been to the crack of time and space. After finding that there is no special treasure, he gave this opportunity to his son. There may also be a special treasure, but he took it away. That's it. Speaking of which, this treasure land makes Hui Qing very tempted. Going once in the 100,000 era is like picking up food. It can also be set for 1,000,000 epochs to collect once. Or millions of epochs. Everything was decided by the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. Occupying such a treasure, there is really no need to fight. It is simply sitting in a treasure house of infinite growth. If he didn't roam, maybe one day an artifact would float from the crack of time and space. This level of treasure was occupied by a demigod powerhouse. Should not. There are definitely secrets. If it is really occupied by a demigod powerhouse, I am afraid it will be kept secret. Don't think about it. When I become the of the universe, I will give this treasure to my brother. Wu Li laughed, squatted on the chair, and closed his eyes to rest. Jian Wushuang laughed and closed his eyes. The next morning, as soon as the first ray of sunshine fell, everyone had already packed up. The pyramids are also closed. I just walked out of the hall. I didn't expect that young Master Honglong was already waiting. This time the team was originally 9 people. Young Master Honglong, guest Qing Shangyang, Elder Zhuge and 6 guards. Now with Jian Wushuang 5 people. There are already 14. Each of the divine power is 40 million. If this reaches the northern time and space, it can be swept across. In the Realm King continent, it is as worthless. So many strong people were gathered at random. Set off. Following the command of young Master Honglong, everyone took a flying bird, rose into the air, and left the Qingshui temple. Just as they were leaving, on a wooden building across the street corner, a crow raised its head and screamed, and then flew away. The flying precious bluebird just flew out of Xiaolong City. A message was also passed on to the outside world. Stationed not far from the crack in time and space, a group of figures in black were hidden in a mountain. Lion King, there is news from the crows, they have already left. Among the mountains, the man in the gold armor headed by, tore off his black clothes and grinned, "Get ready to follow. Aren't you waiting for the crow?" In the shadow, a voice was a little cautious. However, he was pulled out of the darkness by the golden-armored Lion King, and the other party also revealed a very strange face, with stitches on the corners of his mouth and a strange pattern painted on his face. "Shijio, if you're afraid, just stay here, and I'll save you a copy of the treasure." The Lion King stared at each other with cold eyes, and after a long time of not getting a response, he disdainfully said, "Then follow me, you freak." After keeping the opponent aside, the Lion King continued to observe the edge of the space-time crack with a special power. The darkness in the mountains also lit up. It was a teleportation formation. Once cast, you can enter the space-time rift. Where the time and space are confused, you will not be found when you enter. The freak who can be called Xiaojiu is still very scared, because he knows how many powerhouses have fallen in the cracks in time and space. There is even a demigod with a divine power of 70 million. That's why no one dared to fight Zalongshan's idea. The Lord of Zalongshan, more like a freak, killed an unknown number of people who spied on this place. But they still dared to come. Wealth is in danger. Moreover, this time, just staring at the original treasure in the crack of time and space. But the Lion King who took the lead didn't think so. What he wanted was the entire canyon of time and space. "Zongxing, you'll be able to go in very soon. If the things you gave me don't work, I'll kill you." The Lion King voiced a threatening tone to the outside world. In a lake near Xiaolong Mountain, a noble man dressed in fancy clothes disdainfully transmitted his voice to the Lion King. "Stop talking nonsense, this time I blocked my life." This group of people are the Starfield Bandits who previously went to Xiaolong City to purchase the power of the starry sky. Similar to what Jian Wushuang guessed, he really focused on the cracks in time and space here. Now it's up for grabs. And there is a backhand who is not afraid of the Lord of Zalongshan. Let's talk about Jian Wushuang. Xiaolong City is very close to the crack in time and space. It took half a day to arrive. The speed of this blue bird is similar to that of the secret realm level of the pyramid. If it is a pyramid using cosmic speed, it will take a stick of incense to arrive. If Jian Wushuang is at full speed, it only takes a few breaths. Then the Lord of Zalongshan is here, and it is a breath. This is why Xiaolong Mountain is the plan of the land. Just beside you, you can relax your mind. As for why this place is not considered a parcel, that's a bit of an exaggeration. The place is deserted all around. Not suitable and not suitable. It's not good to be too conspicuous. Just being there in an instant is enough. There is no need to be stationed here. The cracks in time and space will not disappear, and if someone dares to make a mistake, kill it. Can't get around his hurdle. It's here. Young Master Honglong took the lead to get off the bird, pointed to the big formation in front of him and said, "This is a big formation that my father found a cosmic god to refine. Once this formation is opened, the cosmic god wants to break it. 3 breaths are also needed, and the 3 breaths time is enough for my father to rush to the formation and maintain the formation by himself, which can last for a month. Chapter 6146. And then? Shenmu King asked directly. For a time, the atmosphere was extremely embarrassing. Even Wu Li, who doesn't write drafts when he speaks, doesn't know how to round it up. Young Master Honglong was very determined. He glanced at the wooden queen and explained, after a month, the cracks in time and space will collapse, and treasures will not appear in the future. Hi! Wu Li hurriedly came out and flattered. Ling Zun's technique is simply unique, and the universe gods can't help it. I simply admire it. It's serious, that is, those high-level cosmic gods don't look down on these treasures. If he really likes my father, he may have to let go. After all, the price of offending a cosmic is too high. Modesty. Jian Wushuang felt that the price was enough. If you offend, you will be offended, and you can't hand it over to others, right? It is estimated that the Lord of Zelangshan has secretly competed with many gods of the universe, and in the end he won, and he can always master this place. Fortunately, they didn't talk about this topic yesterday, otherwise they would die. It is more practical to cooperate honestly. Okay, let's go in directly. Young Master Honglong was not talking nonsense. He took out a token and directly opened the entrance of the big array. But just before everyone was about to enter, the mountain peak not far from here suddenly burst open. The huge noise distracted everyone for a while, and looked at the bursting mountain. A purple stone unicorn sprang out from the mountain, and the burst of divine power had already reached 40 million. It turned out to be a purple stone unicorn. It's just a low-grade divine beast, Qingxian, you can drive it away. Young Master Honglong gave a random order, and then turned his eyes back. After feeling the formation, I was relieved that there was no change. No one thought it was a coincidence just now. It all felt a little weird. After feeling that there was no problem with the formation, young Master Honglong breathed a sigh of relief. His guard leader, Qingxian, had already returned. Young Master Honglong is not surprised by his own people. How could he not know his strength? This is also to beat the others and let them know that their subordinates are not weaker than them. Especially beating the Elder Zhuge. Don't think that with seniority, you can do whatever you want and don't take him seriously. His own guard leader, Qingxian, is also his senior sister, a disciple of his father. Divine power 43 million. It is only a little weaker than Elder Zhuge. Young Master. Qingxian still held a beating heart in his hand. This scene made Wu Li's heart skip a beat. Just when Qingxian took action, 10,000 swords were released in one breath, and the purple stone unicorn was easily beheaded. It's just a beast, why kill him? Young Master Honglong pretended to complain. Keep it for yourself, there are quite a few monsters around here, don't wait to bring them out again. But as soon as he finished speaking, a monster appeared again. Young Master Honglong covered his head and said helplessly, "Forget it, don't bother, let's go." After he finished speaking, he took everyone into the canyon of time and space. When entering, Wu Li also quietly said, "Brother Wushuang, how does the kendo of that little girl just now compare to yours?" "I can't compare. You just say that you are stronger or she is stronger." "Stronger than I was back then, but stronger than I am now." "How many years ago?" "Probably 10 million epochs ago." Wu Li just kept his mouth shut. He didn't know much about Jian Wushuang's strength. It was Hui Qing's strength that shocked him a lot. Now it seems that Jian Wushuang is still stronger. 10 million epochs ago, it was so strong. Now that it has become the 8 tribulations realm, the combat power of the demigods is no problem. After entering the canyon of time and space, the feeling of confusion came oncoming. Moreover, there are some small space-time cracks, and one may accidentally divide the divine body into 2 parts. Although not fatal, it can damage the body of the gods. Now Jian Wushuang's divine body is formed by the condensed power of the starry sky. The power of life and the power of all things in the past are useless. Are there any treasures that contain the power of the starry sky? Be careful not to get hurt. Otherwise, even if he has the source starry sky, it will be very slow to recover. Although not as slow as ordinary practitioners, it still takes hundreds of years. This can already be said to be extremely fast for ordinary practitioners, but for Jian Wushuang, who was able to recover his divine power in an instant, it was simply a turtle's speed. So after entering the space-time crack, he was extra careful. In addition, his strength was the weakest, so he took the opportunity to walk in the middle, next to which young Master Honglong. The further you go deeper into the canyon of time and space, the more cracks there will be. But that kind of crack is invisible, just like a line. Unable to flow out the treasure, it will hurt people. The power of thought must be tense, and if one is not careful, it will be seriously injured. Half of this physical waste task was handed over to young Master Honglong's guard, and the other half was handed over to Wu Li and others. However, Qing Xian and Wu Li were one after the other, one to protect Jian Wushuang and others, one to protect Honglong. As for polite Shangyang and Elder Zhuge, they don't seem to want to contribute very much. After entering the canyon for most of the day, found nothing. Young Master Honglong was in no hurry, holding a compass in his hand, searching for the treasure he was looking for. Turn around, time and space are messed up, and we have gone the opposite way. Young Master Honglong kept reminding the route. It is very troublesome to enter the inner circle. If there is no Honglong to lead the way, even if this place is given to them, it will be difficult to search for treasures. It's hard to say Jian Wushuang, because the time and space here are disordered, and his mind power is wide open, and the scope is much wider than theirs. A few floating treasures have even been seen. There are 7 tribulation realms, and there are 8 robbery realms. Don't talk about him, even the others don't look down on him. He simply ignored it. Otherwise, you can use the power of thought to guide you over. Yep. A powerful breath was captured by his mind, and it was a semi-artifact. A big seal. He was overjoyed. When he entered the Realm King continent, he was poor and poor. If he wanted to buy treasures containing the power of the starry sky, he had to be rich. Although after reaching the 8 tribulations realm, one epoch in his origin can give birth to tens of millions of primordial stones, but that is not enough. After finally accumulating tens of billions of primordial stones, when I asked to exchange for treasures containing the power of the starry sky, I learned that an ordinary one could not be exchanged. Because treasures containing the power of the starry sky, at least use starry sky spar to exchange. The starry sky spar is originally condensed from the starry sky. It is the hard currency of the stars. Only the God of the universe can condense. And it's cumbersome. Jian Wushuang didn't have a single one. So after seeing that half-artifact, the bottom of my heart will be ecstatic. This semi-artifact can be sold for tens of billions of primordial stones. You can exchange for hundreds of star crystals. There are no treasures of the starry sky, and it is the same to absorb starry sky spar. Chapter 6147. Anyway, his basic power is very low. It's rising fast enough. Just do what you say, and as soon as your mind power moves, it guides the big seal to fly towards their position. At the same time, he also sent a voice transmission to Wu Li and asked the other party to adjust his position, ready to the treasure. Anyway, young Master Honglong said that the treasure he got is his own, with the exception of his treasure. Wu Li was also overjoyed to hear that, but he didn't expect Jian Wushuang to have this ability. After changing positions with Hui Qing, he sat and waited for the treasure to fly. It's not that Jian Wushuang doesn't believe in Hui Qing, but that Hui Qing is not suitable for such things as turning around and grabbing treasures. Just when Wu Li and Hui Qing switched positions, the treasure actually disappeared. There was a terrifying aura left. That breath is definitely not a so-called monster, or left by a crack in time and space. He was guided around the cracks in time and space. No, there are still a group of people here. He immediately understood that someone just took advantage of the outside world to take advantage of the opportunity to come in. When Wu Li and the others heard it, they said in disbelief, "Brother Wushuang, don't scare me, who is so capable to sneak in here?" In the outside world just now, young Master Honglong said that the universe can carry this formation. Who can come in here? Isn't coming in to die? Under the heavy money, Meng people came out. Meng people really came. Jian Wushuang's eyes were quiet, and Tan Ran voiced, "Just be careful, the strength of the person here should not exceed 50 million. 50 million? Wu Li resisted the shock and said, 50 million is not a lot. Who can stop it? Why don't we go? Me. The silent Hui Qing said at this time, just leave it to me in case of danger. Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment at this remark, but a smile suddenly leaked out. I still think Hui Qing can be trusted. Hearing this, Wu Li said with joy, I knew that brother Hui Qing is the strongest. Come on, this is yours. In just a few breaths, Wu Li and Hui Qing went back and forth. This makes many people feel strange. But before they could think about it, the surrounding monsters had quietly touched it. Be careful of those monsters. Young Master Hong Long shouted angrily. This time, Wu Li was not too surprised. He took the initiative to shoot and smash the approaching monsters with one punch. Those monsters have more than 30 million divine powers. But at this time, Wu Li's divine power exploded, reaching about 40 million. The power of the subsequent monsters is similar, and there are very few monsters that exceed the power of 40 million. The crowd was quite settled. Each has a shot. Except for Jian Wushuang. Wu Li is the rise of killing. Most of the monsters were beheaded by him, as if comparing with Qing Xian next to him. But at this time, Jian Wushuang reminded him through voice transmission, Brother Wu Li, keep it, these monsters are attracted, and the monsters behind are demigods. Although he didn't do anything, his mind power has been observing these monsters. It felt something was wrong, and those monsters were all coming towards them. Apparently it was targeted. And the follow-up monsters have more than 45 million divine powers. One has to be careful. After Wu Li heard it, he hurriedly closed his fists and retreated behind the crowd. He covered his mouth with his fists and coughed dryly. The divine power is almost exhausted, and the remaining monsters will be handed over to you. Brother Wu Li has worked hard. These monsters are worthy of Brother Wu Li's shot. Young Master Hong Long did not expect Wu Li to be so generous. He was stunned to kill a group of monsters, and only a few left. It's like a half-brother. Otherwise, why would you help him like this? Although Wu Li said, there is a problem. The divine power cannot be consumed so quickly. But young Master Hong Long felt that Wu Li did not consume 30% or 20%. But I didn't know that Wu Li was just a warm-up. The life force he got in Danbao can be reclaimed from the sea, and even if it uses 30% or even half of it, it can be restored in an instant. It's serious. Compared to Elder Zhuge, I'm still far behind. At this time, Wu Li deliberately raised Elder Zhuge, stood beside him, and deliberately flattered, Elder Zhuge, let's talk about it because I think these monsters are too powerful. Is it low? Elder Zhuge didn't say a word, but with a light touch of his finger, he easily shattered several monsters. Wu Li didn't give up and continued to raise his voice. Elder Zhuge's divine power is really not simple. He can smash these monsters with just a random shot, unlike me, which directly spent 20 to 30% of the divine power, and these monsters are too weak. They can't come to a demigod-level monster to train Elder Zhuge. The so-called demigod-level monsters only possess 45 million divine powers, but their combat power is not enough. The same divine power can also consume demigod-level monsters to death. Just as Wu Li's voice fell. Behind Elder Zhuge, a demigod-level monster really appeared. The guardian at the southwest corner of the rear is Jian Wushuang and an ordinary guard, whose divine power is only about 40 million. Not to mention Jian Wushuang, he immediately pretended to explode and directly cast the ancient transformation. Divine power increased to about 30 million. Help me! To enhance divine power is to escape. Seeing this, Wu Li also revealed a look of surprise and quickly shouted, Elder Zhuge, I'm going to save people, you stop that monster. At this time, another demigod-level monster appeared in front of him, which had been stopped by Qing Xian. When Elder Zhuge heard this, he could only grit his teeth. You can't be invisible. Wu Li went to save Jian Wushuang, the guard of young Master Hong Long, but no one could save him. In case of his fall, young Master Hong Long will only hate him. After tangled again and again, Elder Zhuge could only take action. Fly out. When passing by Jian Wushuang and which of the guards, he said viciously, "It's all waste." This sentence happened to be heard by young Master Honglong, and his brows were also wrinkled. Wu Li easily rescued which of the guards. This warmed the heart of young Master Honglong. Suddenly I felt that the friends I had made were still easier to use than those old ministers. At least these people obey themselves, and they are not as arrogant as Elder Zhuge. Even going to save one's own people, one has to hesitate. Also ranting. After living for such a long time, the threshold of demigods has not been reached, and it is even more useless. Jian Wushuang was just rescued by Wu Li pretending to be, and then a strong breath broke out. Elder Zhuge fought with the demigod monster. Qing Xian in front was also fighting with monsters. For a while, everyone could only stop. If it wasn't for Jian Wushuang who secretly lured away a lot of monsters, at least 10 demigod-level monsters would be killed at this time. The other side of the canyon of time and space. The Lion King frowned and said coldly, "It's weird, why did these monsters turn around halfway? Normal, these monsters have no will." Shi Jiao explained aside, but was kicked fiercely by the Lion King. "Do I need you to remind me?" Chapter 6148. The Lion King was a little impatient, frowned and said, "Forget it, it's almost the same, it's time for us to take action, kill the rest, and rob the young Master Honglong." "Yes." Shi Jiao, who got up from the ground, did not dare to hold grudges, but obeyed respectfully. They didn't know that all this was led by Jian Wushuang. Just to draw them out. If you want to test them with monsters, Jian Wushuang will not give this chance. Dozens of demigod monsters really came, and Hui Qing would definitely reveal his true power. When the time comes, he will scare the opponent away, or come back with precautions, which would be bad. The other party is also in the dark, so be careful. Be careful to make thousands of years. Within the range of Jian Wushuang's psychic power, several terrifying auras were quietly approaching them. As soon as he entered the range of his psychic power, he noticed the movement of the other party. Everyone, the fish is hooked. Everyone understands what this means. It was the person from young Master Honglong who was still foolishly dealing with those monsters. This time, it is not too much to keep the other party and go out to kowtow to him. If it wasn't for the beast soldier, he didn't have to find a guard for the other party. The key is a bit over the top this time. It happened to meet the Star Field Bandits in ambush. That terrifying aura was exactly the same as the Star Field Bandits that young Master Honglong said. It's just that the guy who Jian Wushuang expects is suspected of mastering the divine power of the starry sky. If he is, it can make up for his loss this time. Hui Qing was the first to start accumulating gas. At the moment when the Star Field Bandits approached, they took the lead and caught the opponent by surprise. The Lion King, who was the leader of the bandits, frowned, and found that Hui Qing's divine power was no less than his, surpassing 50 million. It was just the collision of the broken station that knocked him back. A huge burst of breath. Young Master Honglong was also dumbfounded. It was only after seeing the Lion King that I understood, this time I was tricked. "Don't worry about those monsters, get out first." He responded very quickly. The sudden appearance of the bandits in the star field, coupled with the powerful divine powers of Hui Qing and others, could not make him feel at ease. But now want to go back? It's too late. Starfield bandits are not alone. The leading Lion King was stopped by Hui Qing, and the rest of the bandits rushed towards Elder Zhuge and Kaching Shangyu. For a time, there was a scuffle around. The guard Qing Xin shook off the monster and came to the side of young Master Honglong. At this time, she must protect the safety of the young master and cannot leave her body half a step. Brother Wu Li, he is so strong. Young Master Honglong was also dumbfounded. In addition to Hui Qing, Wu Li's divine power also reached the demigods. A wooden sword overturned several Starfield bandits. King Shenmu and Wu's will also have powerful divine powers of more than 40 million, and they can barely stop the bandits in the star region. Arcana and a divine body are not bad. However, Elder Zhuge was in trouble at this time. Not only did he have to deal with the demigod monster, but he was also besieged by 2 star-field bandits. Only Jian Wushuang was the most relaxed, standing behind young Master Honglong. He had no intention of making a move. Instead, he is observing these star-field bandits. The Lion King, headed by him, had a divine power of about 53 million, and he fought back and forth with Hui Qing's future. The opponent cannot be in love. Otherwise, when young Master Honglong's father arrives, they will all be finished. Master Honglong, can you inform Ling Zun? Jian Wushuang asked from the side. But seeing the embarrassed look on young Master Honglong's face, he realized that something was wrong. The two just looked at each other and said nothing. For fear disturbs the heart. Young Master Honglong immediately sent a voice transmission to the outside world for help, but found that his thoughts could not be transmitted through the token at all. This place is inherently chaotic in time and space, coupled with the partition of the formation. If you want to communicate to the outside world, there is only his special token. Now that the token is also isolated, I can only hope that my father can sense the movement here. He didn't know that the Lion King had already used a special secret technique to cover the space-time canyon in his formation. Now that the outside world can't get in, don't even think about going out. The great formation here is equivalent to adding a dowry to the Lion King. On the contrary, it will block people from the outside world who want to come in. It seems that they came well prepared. Jian Wushuang was still determined, at least with the combat power shown now. Hui Qing alone could settle the other side. Nothing to be afraid of. Since you can't go, take the other party down. Hui Qing, take him down. After Hui Qing, who was entangled with the Lion King, heard about it, he stepped back half a step, and the light was bright. In the future, the body will be advanced again, from 50 million to 60 million. This terrifying divine power made Jian Wushuang speechless. Unexpectedly, the second-order future body created by Hui Qing was so powerful. With 60 million divine powers, the Lion King was seriously injured in just one face-to-face encounter. Feeling the intense passage of the divine body, the Lion King was stunned. Who are you? You have 60 million divine power. Who I am has nothing to do with you. Hui Qing didn't stop, and raised his hand to pat the Lion King again. The first time the Lion King was seriously injured, Ukanshu. For the second time, the divine body was directly broken. It's over, the third time I will die. The Lion King fell into fear, and the golden armor was broken. With 60 million divine power, you can have a territory to become a lord in many star fields. When he is a star domain bandit, he does not dare to do anything to the existence of this level. This time, he was planted. Their divine powers are just average, and it's okay to deal with a 9 tribulation realm like young Master Honglong, but if they encounter a powerful demigod, they will definitely be finished. The perfect plan, ultimately lost to divine power. Not reconciled. It seems that I still want to help your majesty. The Lion King's eyes moved, and he took out a token and smashed it directly. Hui Qing also noticed the other party's actions and wanted to stop it, but found that it was too late, so he could only continue to attack the Lion King. But when his palm fell, the figure of the other party disappeared in an instant. It's a space-time order. He actually has a space-time token. Young Master Honglong exclaimed. The second outbreak of Hui Qing just now was enough to amaze him. He didn't expect that the Lion King, a guy with only 50 million divine powers, would have time and space orders. It is a treasure that can break through time and space. Once it breaks through time and space, it can escape at will. Even if this place is a time-space canyon, it can leave quickly. He didn't have this kind of super treasure that could save his life, and he still heard his father say it once. Now, it's the first time I've seen it. Fortunately, the other party used to escape. They are also safe. Hui Qing was a little unwilling to see the other party escape. Don't look at how polite he is usually, but when he encounters this kind of star-field bandit who burns, kills, and loots, he will not show mercy at all. The Lion King ran away. But those black-clothed bandits who were left behind had no time-space order. Hui Qing raised his hand and pointed out to directly kill the bandits in the star region. Just a finger and instantly kill. Chapter 6149. You must know that those bandits have 40 million divine powers. Well, Hui Qing glanced in surprise at a scrawny, strange-looking star bandit who was able to block his finger. Just when he was about to make his second shot, he was stopped by Jian Wushuang. Keep your tongue. Only then did Hui Qing stop. Starfield bandits come fast and die fast. Now there is only one left. Fine 9. There was no fear on his face. After realizing that he had kept his hand, he quickly stepped forward and respectfully said, "It will definitely benefit me to save my life." Benefits? Jian Wushuang smiled when he heard the words, and the other party was still sensible, so he asked, "Who used those treasures containing the power of the starry sky that you bought in Zhalong City?" This is the most curious thing for him. As for why the other party has the idea of hitting the temporal canyon, he doesn't care at all. At this time, young Master Hong Long also rushed forward, grabbed the opponent's neck, and said coldly, "Also, who sent you here, dare to peep at my treasured place in Zhalong Mountain?" This. Shijio glanced at Jian Wushuang and young Master Hong Long, and finally looked at Hui Qing. He is not a fool either and knows who is stronger. Seeing this, Kaching Shangyang quickly appeased young Master Hong Long. "Don't worry, let him speak slowly." Only then did young Master Hong Long realize that he was a little rude, and slowly put down Shijio, and said in a low voice, "Tell me everything you know, or you will know the consequences." Cough cough. Shijio, after a few coughs, staggered, "Then shall I answer your question first?" At this time, the other party dared to pull with him. Jian Wushuang frowned. Although he felt that the other party was a little aware of the current affairs, there was no fear in the eyes of the other party, but rather sullen. A bad premonition appeared in his heart, and he winked at Hui Qing at the same time. If these Starfield bandits still have a backhand, they will solve it as soon as possible. Stop talking nonsense. Jian Wushuang frowned, and he wrapped the opponent in the center as soon as his thoughts moved. Shijio didn't care, but when he felt the thought power, a trace of suspicion flashed in his eyes, and then he grinned. "The power of the starry sky, you are a boy with only 20 million in divine power. I can tell you, some things, it's not good to know." At the moment when the mind power wrapped Shijio, Jian Wushuang had no intention of paying attention to the other party's answer. Because in the surrounding space, a pink mist actually rose. "Very poisonous." Jian Wushuang shouted, "Shrink your breath quickly, don't contaminate it." But his reminder was too late. Except for Hui Qing, who had been reminded early in the morning, they all took a half step back. The rest were all hit. Young Master Hong Long was also taken aback, and he wanted to retreat, but it was already over. A pink bubble rose up on his face, spreading along his physical body, and the divine body also began to fester. This toxin is so powerful that even weak demigods will fall. Seeing this, Hui Qing wanted to step forward to help, but was stopped by Jian Wushuang. Such a terrifying poison, they don't even know what it is. If you rashly save people, maybe you will get in too. Hui Qing had just burst out with 60 million divine power, and the other party dared to plot against them. Obviously, he was very confident in his poison. Young Master Qing Xian, who was in charge of protecting Hong Long, fell first, and he was the closest to Shijio. This venom was emitted from Shijio, which Elder Zhuge even widened his eyes had lost their brilliance, and shouted unwillingly before he fell, "It's Cha Luohua, you are a Dugu, Pat." Elder Zhuge's physical body and divine body were shattered together, and the source also stopped working. After being poisoned, young Master Hong Long used the treasure to forcefully support it, but he couldn't hold on for too long. When he heard Cha Luohua and Dugu, he fell into despair. Kaluohua, that is the most poisonous poison that can be ranked in the top 10 in the Realm King continent. Once the practitioners below the universe are infected, they will surely die. However, this poison has a special smell and is difficult to get close to. Unless someone can carry this poison. This is the case with Xiujio in front of him. The only person who can carry Kaluohua is Your Majesty Dugu. It is not that His Majesty Dugu can carry it, but one of his subordinates can carry Kaluohua. With this person, His Majesty Dugu plundered several star fields, and even the universe god couldn't do anything about him. the other person appeared here. So the person who paid attention to Zilongtian this time is probably His Majesty Dugu. Brother Wu Li. Before the fall of the young Master Honglong, he turned to look at Wu Li. From Huiking's outbreak to Jian Wushuang's Tanding, he could see that what Wu Li said to him might not be a lie. They may really be the super geniuses in the God's star domain, or the disciples of the time and space gods with great backgrounds. Brother Honglong, what else do you have to explain? Wu Li couldn't bear to see the unwillingness on the other side's face. Brother Wu Li, help me with a message to my father. When young Master Honglong spoke, he felt his source tremble, and his entire body froze in place and couldn't move. Behind him, a sharp knife rubbed with venom pierced into his origin, shattering the last trace of his strength. This scene shocked Jian Wushuang. It's really going too fast. Shangyang, the guest of Zhalong Mountain, turned out to be a spy. Not only was he not poisoned, but he also took the opportunity to kill young Master Honglong and rob the opponent's array compass. Not only Jian Wushuang, but Wu Li was also dumbfounded. And the fine 9. Haha, I didn't expect that the person your majesty said was you. Okay, take me away quickly, the formation can't stop Zhalong Mountain Master. The person who responded to him appeared, and the mission was declared over. In fact, this is how it was originally done. It's all because the Lion King is too arrogant and wants to take down the space-time canyon alone. How can that be? Divine power is only in the early 50s, and he wants to take down the space-time canyon, which is too underestimated by Zhalong Mountain Master. Shang Yang played with the compass in his hand and just wanted to put it away, but his face was stunned. He ignored Shijiao, looked at Wu Li and shouted, "Next," said and threw the compass to Wu Li. What? Wu Li took the compass easily. It was too late for Jian Wushuang to remind him. I saw the jade-faced bronze mirror in Shangyang again and said loudly, "Everyone, please don't thank me, I'll go first." You. Shijui was also stunned for a while, unable to understand what Shangyang was doing. He quickly communicated with His Majesty Dugu through special means. The order that can be received is the same as the other party. The two looked at each other and took out the space-time order at the same time. Then crushed directly. From then on, Jian Wushuang and others were left, standing stupidly in place. The people led by the young Master Honglong are dead betrayals. Only a few of them were left intact. Chapter 6150. Now holding the compass overwhelmed. Brother Wushuang, you are very clever. What do you mean by this? Wu Li was already dazed. First, Jian Wushuang stopped Huiqing, leaving Shijiao behind. Then Shijiao killed everyone with Chaluo flower poison. Young Master Honglong was about to say something when he was killed by his own guest. When Shangyang got the compass, Jian Wushuang's purpose was very simple. It is to control the compass of the formation, and to search for the treasures here. But the other party threw the compass to Wu Li, and he couldn't understand it. Now both of them crushed the time and space order and ran away. Don't care about them. Frame. Jian Wushuang let out a low growl, then laughed. A child's trick. I didn't expect to encounter this kind of thing just when I came to the Realm King continent. It seems that we can't leave today. Everyone reacted when they heard that they were framed. Focus on us, what do these people mean? The people of the Shenmue King were all dumbfounded. They are just a group of time and space practitioners who have just entered the Realm King continent. How could he be framed? Wu Zhuo heard the words and asked, "Is it still Zama's?" No. Jian Wushuang shook his head and said, "No, Zama's is stronger than you think. If he knows our location, a cosmic will be able to kill us all. There is no need at all. Use this tactic against us." The key point is that Zamasu is not in Kaiwang continent at all. Jian Wushuang and the other practitioners of the northern time and space, in Zama's view, are fish and meat on a sticky board. As long as the other party becomes the king of the gods, they can easily wipe out the life of the northern time and space. There is no need to target them one by one. Every time the target in the northern time and space is to destroy the practitioners of the entire northern time and space. What are you doing? What? Jian Wushuang raised his brows and said, I guess someone wants to sit on the mountain and watch the tiger fight and leave this problem to us. Sit on the mountain and watch the tiger fight. It should be His Majesty Dugu, that young Master Honglong said. If their strength was average, they might have died long ago. There is no use value. But Huiking's divine power has been exposed, and the second-order future body already has the top half-god combat power. It can be used as a test stone. And his hidden power, I am afraid, has also been exposed. Now as long as they go out with the compass, I am afraid they will face the anger of the Xiaolong Mountain Master immediately. There is yellow mud stuffed in the crotch, I can't tell. This place is a canyon of time and space. Time and space are disordered. It is impossible to reverse the time and space, and there is no way for the universe to come. Only he can prove his innocence. How can I prove myself? Young Master Honglong and his subordinates all fell, and not even the ashes were left. How to explain this? It's better, let's run away. Wu Zuo was a little scared. The Chaluo poison just now was really terrible. Not only him, but Jian Wushuang himself was afraid. It is said that the fall is a momentary thing. At the beginning, I stayed in the northern time and space for too long without a sense of crisis. After coming to the Realm King continent, I started to feel a little nervous, but after seeing the young Master Honglong, I felt that my divine power was not weaker than the other party, so there was nothing to worry about. Something happened now. For a while, no one could think of a countermeasure. Run away. It would be great if they could run. Anyway, from the God Star region, even if Xiaolong Mountain Master believes that they are the murderers, he will not be able to trouble the God Star region. But they can't run now. With the compass, you can find the exit. But at the current exit, I am afraid that the Master of Xiaolong Mountain has already been waiting. Going out is a tough fight. Although the opponent's divine power sword Wushuang is unknown, it will not be less than 60 million divine power. He and Huiqing joined forces to solve each other's problems. The problem is that after solving the other party, what should the bandits in the Star region do while taking advantage of the fire? This is a conspiracy for Xiaolong Mountain Master. It's a naked conspiracy to them. Don't go. After making up his mind, Jian Wushuang explained, going out now is also a fierce battle. Anyway, the compass is in our hands. It is better to stay. Even if Xiaolong Mountain Master refines a new token, it is not necessarily we can find us, and there are many cracks in time and space here, which are natural barriers. As long as we are patient and let the bandits in the star field sit still, we will be able to clear them. This was the best way he could think of. Anyway, there are still a lot of treasures here, and you can also go treasure hunting. Why not? When the bandits in the star field can't sit still, they run out to fight the master of Xiaolong Mountain, and they may be able to take advantage of the fishermen. Okay, it's a good plan. As soon as they heard that there was no need to go out to fight, Wu Zuo and Wu Li were the first to agree. Both of their divine powers are in the early 40s. And there is no great life-saving means. It is really difficult to go out. Rather, it is cumbersome. The Shenmu King is different. He has at least the Moyun Vine at the level of the 9 Tribulations realm, and there is a threshold for the two to cooperate with the demigod. But everyone agreed, and he had no objection. Huiqing listened to Jian Wushuang as always. Then he'll trouble brother Wu Li to manipulate the compass. He'll lead the way. He'll search for the treasures in this place first. Which Master Honglong was looking for a treasure, but it can quickly become a treasure of a demigod. They didn't care at first, but now that young Master Honglong is dead, all the treasures here are theirs. Just as Jian Wushuang and others went to search for treasures. Outside Xiaolong Mountain, a large group of Starfield bandits gathered in a dilapidated palace. Here are the Lion King, Shijiao, and Shangyang that Jian Wushuang and others are familiar with. Your Majesty, according to your instructions, the compass has been given to the guys in the God's Star territory. Shangyang bowed and saluted, reporting everything. Above the dilapidated hall, an arrogant man wearing a tattered armor had endless divine power in his eyes. Then just wait. When those guys come out, let Zongjing and Crow keep an eye on them. After an era, whether they do anything or not, we will go to level Xiaolong Mountain. After hearing this, everyone below said in unison, yes. Step on Xiaolong Mountain. Star domain robbers robbing treasures. Rather than treasure. His Majesty Dugu was also eyeing the treasure that Xiaolong Mountain Master had obtained. As for the Canyon of Time and Space, it is different. Because the secrets contained in it are not as simple as floating treasures. Previously, he sent the Lion King and others to the Canyon of Time and Space just to verify his guess. And arrange the next time-space transformation array in the time-space canyon in advance, and you can enter the time-space canyon at any time. In this way, I am not afraid that the Xiaolong Mountain Master will block them with the great formation of the space-time canyon. Xiaolong Mountain. At this time, the whole city was on alert, and the news of the young master's fall in the canyon of time and space had spread. The furious Xiaolong Mountain Master gathered all the powerhouses at this time and had reached the canyon of time and space. Chapter 6151. Naturally, the city must be on guard so that no one steals the house. The great formation of the space-time canyon is far less complicated than Jian Wushuang and the others thought. Xiaolong Mountain Master will not be unable to enter because there is no token. At the beginning of refining the big formation, he left behind. Only this backhand, only he can enter. Enter alone. This risk is great. In the dark, he was able to kill all the men brought by his son, and even grab the compass. Obviously he came prepared. Coupled with the recent arrival of bandits in the Star region. This caused some concerns to appear in the heart of the Lord of Zolongshan. It's not that he is afraid that there are strong men ambush in the cracks of time and space. Instead, he was worried that the treasure he had been concentrating on hiding might have been discovered. This time, he came for the treasure he had found. If so, then he has to be careful. Standing at the entrance of the crack in time and space, Xiaolong Mountain Master is secretly sending news to the outside world. Being able to become a demigod of a lord is more or less related. Being able to invite the cosmic god to refine this great formation, it can be seen that his relationship with Xiaolong Mountain Master is not ordinary. Brother, have you found the murderer who attacked the canyon of time and space? Through the space-time token, this message was transmitted to a very distant star field. An ancient existence also opened his eyes. It is related to the bandits in the star field, and there is more than one universe behind it. When Xiaolong Mountain Master heard this, his expression was shocked. The bottom of my heart is even colder. More than one cosmic stared. His combat power in a demigod can be said to be the limit. If it is a digital demigod, he is not panic at all, but when he hears that it is a digital cosmic watching, he felt powerless. He couldn't help but sigh. That treasure, his demigod body, could not keep it after all. Don't give up, although they dare to stare, they never dare to take action. You are a member of my Yinglong clan. With me, the universe gods dare not take action easily. At most, they will send some demigods to embarrass you. Don't let your guard down. If the same rank stole your treasure, then I can't help you. Yinglong clan. That is a famous ethnic group in the Realm King continent. There are rumors that there is a dragon. A true dragon at the level of a cosmic is many times stronger than a cosmic that ordinary practitioners become. The Lord of Xiaolong Mountain came from the Yinglong tribe. Therefore, it is possible to hold the cracks in this space-time. At the beginning, he even invited the God of the universe to refine the formation outside the space-time canyon. Without this background, it would have been snatched away by the star domain bandits long ago. If the cosmic god doesn't end, I have confidence. Xiaolong Mountain Master clenched his fists, feeling the boundless and violent divine power coming from his body. This divine power is extremely ferocious. The dark red breath came from all around. If Jian Wushuang felt this power, he would definitely be surprised. Because this power is very similar to the power of the beast god. Be careful with everything. If you can't carry it, abandon the space-time canyon and return to the ancient dragon star field. Naturally no one dares to touch you. The Lord of Zolongshan shook his head gently, and said in a voice, No, I didn't intend to go back when I left. You're still angry about your bloodline, Hanyuan, although you are from a red dragon, your bloodline belongs to the real dragon family, don't be angry. This time, the Lord of Zolongshan did not answer. Instead, he silently put away the sound transmission token. Now that you understand everything behind it, there is no need for him to stay here. Where is the canyon of time and space? It is impossible to run. What to do now is to sit firmly in Dragon City and wait for the gang of Starfield bandits to come. Among the demigods, he dare not say that he is arrogant to the entire Realm King continent, but in several nearby Starfields, no one is his opponent. As for Jian Wushuang and others in the crack of time and space, Xiaolong Mountain Master didn't take it to heart at all. Being able to find out the details of Jian Wushuang and the others, naturally, there is nothing to be afraid of. And he has lived for such a long time, how can he be blinded by the methods of the Starfield bandits? He would never use Jian Wushuang and others to open a knife. But don't even think about leaving the rift in time and space alive. Just before Xiaolong Mountain Master was about to leave the canyon of time and space, his brows were wrinkled. The power of the beast god. He could easily feel the power of the beast from the canyon of time and space. And it's pure. That power was purer than that of his brother. Impossible! He exclaimed. The nearby subordinates all turned to look. Thought something happened. Seeing the panicked eyes of his subordinates, Xiaolong Mountain Master regained his composure. You are guarding here, and I will enter to check it myself. Originally, I was thinking of going back to Xiaolong Mountain first, because things here are not in a hurry. He just had to wait and see. But after feeling the pure beast power coming from the space-time crack, he couldn't help but ecstasy in his heart. The figure flashed and entered the crack of time and space. A mighty force is coming. Feeling the guidance from the power of the beast god, the Lord of Zelangshan approached Jian Wushuang and others at a very fast speed. This powerful force was soon discovered by Jian Wushuang. It's not because of the exploration of mind power, but because the same similar forces are attracting each other. Yep. Just after receiving a treasure containing the power of the starry sky, Jian Wushuang felt threatened. They had been searching for treasures in the cracks of time and space for several days. Because of his huge mind power, he can detect a wide range, so he quickly accepted all the treasures floating in the cracks of time and space. There are also many treasures containing the power of the starry sky, which naturally belong to him. As for the other treasures, they were all distributed to the Shenmu King and Wu Li. Hui Qing and Wu Zhuo did not look down on these treasures. Although there is a treasure hunt once in the 100,000th era, some special treasures will appear every time. The value is also limited. The most special treasure this time is the treasure that young Master Honglong was looking for earlier. Just now Jian Wushuang used the power of the beast to expose himself, but also because of that treasure. It was a pool of blood that contained the power of a beast god. If you use the power of the beast to soak in it, you can cultivate the body. The power of the beast in the blood pool, if all absorbed, can increase the power of 10 million. Of course, it also depends on who absorbs it. If it is Jian Wushuang, his divine body has only 15 million divine power, and absorbing this blood pool can add tens of millions of divine power. It's a pity that his body is not the body of a beast god. The increased power of the beast does not come from the divine body, but from the treasure. Therefore, it is impossible to add divine power to him. The rest are the same. But this special treasure, even if you can't use it, you can sell it for a good price. This time it was not in vain. But now that he felt the strong power of the beast god, Jian Wushuang felt a little regretful. What's wrong? Wu Zhuo found that the color of Jian Wuduo was wrong, and asked quickly. Chapter 6152. The strong power of the beast is approaching rapidly. It only takes an hour to get here. And here is already the core of the space-time crack. To be able to approach so quickly, it is either terrifyingly powerful, or the familiarity of this place has reached the point where it is exactly the same. In the entire territory of Xiaolong Mountain, there is only the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain who has such ability. Jian Wushuang's breathing was a little nervous, and he quickly reminded, someone is approaching us, and it is likely to be the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain. What? Hearing this answer, not only Wu Zhuo, but also King Shenmu and Wu Li were stunned. Didn't you say he can't come in? That's just my guess. Jian Wushuang gritted his teeth and said, "Besides, he didn't come in at the first time, either because he encountered obstacles in the outside world and it has been cleaned up now, or because of that blood pool." The two guesses are still somewhat convincing. However, did not guess the point. Everyone who entered the cottage for the first time knew the background and details of the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. But that doesn't blame them either, because even the son of the Lord of Zalongshan didn't know about it. Then what should we do now? Hui Qin didn't say much, but asked for countermeasures. There is always a solution to a problem. This is Huiqing's style. Chaos is useless. But this time, Jian Wushuang had no choice. The Lord of Zalongshan can come in, what else can he think of? There is only one entrance here. There is one more entrance, to be precise. It's that huge space-time rift. But none of them dare to go in. Even if he is desperate with Zhalong Mountain Master, he will not dare to go in. The time and space of the Realm King continent is extremely difficult to break. There is very little that the universal God can do. It is conceivable how powerful this time and space is. How much power do these people have? Rush into the crack of time and space, only one death. After everyone fell into a short silence, Jian Wushuang said again, "Let's get close to that space-time crack first, wait for the other party to come, and explain it mainly. If it doesn't work, then fight. There's only one way." The Shenmue King sighed slightly. Wu Li was a little embarrassed. This time, it was because of his problem that he wanted to help young Master Honglong with a trivial matter, and then brought up the matter of the beast soldier. Who would have thought that he would encounter a star field bandit? And at a critical moment, young Master Honglong fell. Go to that time-space crack first. In the entire space-time canyon, the largest crack is in the deepest part of the canyon. The treasures they searched for were also drifted from it. Wherever he went, because there was a crack in time and space, he didn't believe that the other party would dare to shoot too ruthlessly. While everyone was on their way, Jian Wushuang was also improving his basic divine power. The treasures he got are also enough to improve some divine power, so that it would be a waste of time to improve if he couldn't beat them when he got them. Taking this opportunity, he madly absorbed the power of the starry sky. A small blue flag was darkened in his hands in just an instant. Only 1.5 million more? This small flag is the treasure of the universe at the top of the 8 tribulations realm. The power of the stars contained in it actually only added about 1.5 million to him. The remaining few are not as good as this one. Fortunately, there are a few more. Continuous absorption. Divine power also reached about 20 million. With the robbery armor, it is 25 million. But still too much. And the price is too high. So many treasures of the 8 tribulations realm universe have increased such a little divine power. His basic divine power wants to reach 30 million, or even 40 million. How much star power do you need? Thinking of this, Jian Wushuang has a headache. The primordial stone in his hand is no longer fragrant. Starry sky spar, he doesn't have it. Feeling powerless. After reaching the opening of the space-time crack, everyone was stunned. This is the first time I have seen this crack. It was 10 times stronger than the shock to them when they felt it. It has to be said that the power contained in this crack is many times stronger than the power of time and space they have ever seen. A place more terrifying than the abyss. How did you say it was formed? Hearing this question, Jian Wushuang couldn't help shaking his head. It is not difficult to make such a large space-time crack in the northern time and space. But it's a little harder to make time and space not heal. Divine power must exceed 30 million or more. At the beginning of their battle in the downstream time and space, many such cracks were created. The latter was repaired by the king himself. To the king's continent. Even if Jian Wushuang tried his best, he couldn't break the time and space. Not to mention, there is a gap in time and space that cannot be healed. Definitely a cosmic god, and an extremely powerful cosmic god, such as which Zamasu. This is the periphery of the god star field. Maybe there was a big war in the beginning. For example, the starry sky secret realm found by Wu Li and others has also fallen to the universe god. Speaking of the secret realm, Jian Wushuang frowned. Perhaps there is a past that they don't know happened in the vicinity of this god star field. Treasures such as the Canyon of Time and Space were born, as well as the starry sky. But all this is very far away for them. Right now, how do you plan to deal with which Zolongtian Lord? The strong divine power shook the surrounding time and space. Soon a figure bathed in the waves of red divine power came to them. Don't ask, the other party is the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. I have seen the Lord. The crowd did not hesitate, and when they saw the other party coming, they respectfully greeted him immediately. Soldiers first and then soldiers. Don't lose momentum. Can't even lose. The fall of young Master Honglong has little to do with them. You can't even throw the blame on them. But the Lord of Zolongtian doesn't think so. And he ventured into this place just to find the power of the beast god. Otherwise it won't come. Because that is so important. The practitioner who contains the power of the beast is purer than his brother's power of the beast god, and can already be comparable to the ancestor of Yinglong. His older brother is the god of the universe, and he is also an extremely powerful being among the gods of the universe. As for the ancestors of the Yinglong family, it is even more unfathomable. Even he only met once. Glancing at the crowd, he quickly locked his gaze on Jian Wushuang. He could feel that the power came from his Jian Wushuang's body. What about Honglong, did you do it? Although it can be crushed, he did not directly kill people to win treasures. It was so exciting when he came up, and Jian Wushuang was also taken aback, but he didn't know that the Lord of Zolongtian had endured for a long time without taking action directly. This time, it was Wu Li who took the lead, and naturally he also stood up to answer. Senior, the matter of Honglong is not what we did, but the gang of bandits who entered Zhalong City before, and they still have time and space orders. Chapter 6153. Before Wu Li could finish speaking, the Lord of Zolongtian snorted coldly. Time and space order? He didn't have many of those treasures, and he didn't give them to his descendants. Would you believe it? Wu Li also knew that his explanations sounded far-fetched. More like a perfunctory lie. But that's what happened. The two unremarkable demigods both took out time and space orders, and they all fled after losing. It's absolutely true. How dare I deceive the Lord when I wait for this kind of strength? After Wu Li finished speaking, he bowed and saluted. Jian Wushuang and the others held their breaths, waiting for the Lord of Zhalong Mountain to speak. However, looking at the opponent's posture, it is difficult to go out safely today. If it was so far-fetched, even a 3-year-old would not believe it. Not to mention the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. The atmosphere gradually cooled down, and killing intent was also revealed in the eyes of the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. His eyes turned and looked at Jian Wushuang. Okay, I'll take your word for it for now. As soon as these words came out, not only did Jian Wushuang not feel relieved, but his heart became much heavier, because he could see the killing intent in the eyes of the other party. I just don't know what means to play with the people in front of them. Or what are you trying to do? Such a powerful divine power. If it was him, he would definitely not talk nonsense, and he would directly kill them. He wanted to see what the other party was up to. When Wu Li heard the other party talk so nicely, his face was overjoyed, and after getting up, he stamped his joy, and then said tragically, I am also very sad about the fall of Brother Honglong. Until he fell, I was still talking about finding that treasure, otherwise I would have gone out to report the funeral long ago. This also explains why they didn't go out immediately. But Zhalong Mountain Master has no interest in this at all. The fall of Honglong is not a blow to a powerhouse of his level. Because the previous plan to pass the throne was because he had reached a bottleneck. It has reached the perfection in the realm of calamity. The next step is to prepare for the divine tribulation. So I will pay a little attention to the younger generation. Those younger generations of his, I don't know how much has fallen. It's just that this time he is holding Honglong so that the other party can guard his Zhalong Mountain. Fall is fall. As long as he can become the god of the universe, no matter how powerful the younger generation can be, he can cultivate it. How could he ruin his big plans because of this little thing? Jian Wushuang also saw this and kept on guard. There must be some reason for finding them instead of avenging their sons. I don't need to investigate the matter of Honglong, But among you, whoever used the power of the beast to stay for the moment, I can let you all survive. The power of the beast. After hearing this, Wu Li and the others all moved. Only Jian Wushuang used the power of the beast once before, and that was to absorb the blood pool. It took a long time for this to happen. They are still not out of the woods. Seeing this, Wu Li hurriedly accompanied Smiley, took out the pool of blood, and said with Smiley, "Senior, you must have made a mistake. We are all humans. How can we have the power of beast gods? The power is because of this blood pool, and this is also the treasure that Brother Honglong is looking for. Since the senior is here, then this treasure will be handed over to the senior, which is to comfort Brother Honglong's spirit in the sky." Snapped. Wu Li just went to present the treasure, but the treasure in his hand was thrown away by the master of Xiaolong Mountain. This kind of treasure containing the power of the beast is nothing to him at all. With that little power, he wouldn't even look at it. If you master the power of beast gods, like young Master Honglong, you can add tens of millions of basic divine powers. But for the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain, who has reached the consummation of the demigod, it is difficult to increase by 10,000. How can you look at this kind of treasure? When Wu Li saw this, he knew that there was no way to get the lake, so he took a half step back and stopped talking. The rest are the same, clearly prepared to fight desperately. The Lord of Zolongshan was a little surprised. He didn't expect these people to be so united that no one thought about living a life. Although he didn't think about letting anyone go. But this little hope is generally not cherished? It seems that you are not ready to talk. The divine power of the Lord of Zolongshan directly surpassed 60 million. And its basic power. No need to use secrets. The basic divine power is already as high as 6,550. With a little use of the secret method, you can break 70 million. Jian Wushuang couldn't help swallowing. The pressure is too great. However, Hui Qing and the others did not panic at all. Hui Qing didn't talk about it, he might still have trump cards. But Wu Li actually behaved very calmly. This not only made Jian Wushuang suspect, but whether the other party also had a backhand. Wu's Wadanran was because he absolutely believed in him and Hui Qing. Shenmu Wang was a little nervous, but not flustered. This kind of scene is seen a lot. Facing Qi Jiuxiao at the beginning was no more exciting than this. But just when everyone was ready to face the threat, Jian Wushuang spoke up. And many more. Hearing this, the Lord of Zolongshan turned to look at Jian Wushuang. He already knew that the problem lay in Jian Wushuang, and he wanted Jian Wushuang to say it on his own initiative. Possessing the power of beast gods, and so pure, he doesn't believe that Jian Wushuang is a human race, and is likely to be a super divine beast of the demon race. If he was captured, took out the complete source of the opponent, and transformed himself, the value would be infinite. This is also why the major groups of the demon clan treat those super divine beasts as treasures. Divine beasts are classified into levels, and the most heaven-defying divine beast, once it becomes the god of the universe, is almost invincible. It must be carefully protected and cultivated slowly. He doubted that Jian Wushuang was a supernatural beast living abroad, using his human identity as a pretense. So try carefully. Senior. Jian Wushuang didn't know what the other party was thinking, but took out a beast weapon and said, "I got this treasure by accident. Using it, I can use the power of the beast god." The treasure he took out was the divine beast weapon, Eye of the Torch Dragon. The Candle Dragon also belongs to the dragon family. And it is also a top-grade divine beast in the dragon clan. When Xiaolong Mountain Master saw that eye hole, his expression couldn't help changing. "You even have such a treasure." He couldn't believe it. Jian Wushuang actually took out the super treasure that made him think about the tomb. He also has one such treasure, but he knows that it is not complete. And that treasure is the beast soldier that Jian Wushuang has been looking for again and again. The last of the 9 beasts. Dragon Blade. He knew that the last beast soldier was in Xiaolong Mountain. But I didn't expect this treasure to be in the hands of the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain, and this lord is still a treasure. Hobby Chinese Network. Chapter 6154. This made him a little confused. Although the divine beast weapon is somewhat special, a single piece of divine beast weapon is only at the level of the 7 tribulations. A demigod lord, take a fire stick as a treasure? Senior, this treasure is made by ordinary beast gods. This silenced him. However, the eyes of the Lord of Zolongshan were like that of a copper bell, and then he woke up suddenly. When I thought of the time when I obtained the dragon's blade, I also felt that this treasure was very ordinary. But when he used his true dragon power, he found that this magic dragon blade could actually strengthen his true dragon power. And there is a complete source of magic dragon inside. The source started at the level of the 7 tribulations, and was later elevated to the 9 tribulations by him. Originally, he had only 50 million divine power, but he was able to break out an attack of 70 million divine power. Raise a full 20 million divine power. In the end, it was through the brothers in the group that the blade of the demon dragon was raised to the ultimate level. That is artifact. The source inside the dragon's blade has also reached the level of the universe god. The complete ultimate source, giving him enlightenment, is equivalent to understanding the source of a cosmic god. The follow-up divine power is also improved rapidly. The basic divine power has reached more than 60 million. Coupled with the increase of the demon dragon's blade, he is almost not afraid of any demigods. This is his bottom line. The dragon's blade was one of the most important treasures he had obtained in the canyon of time and space. There is one more thing which is of little help to him now, but it will be of great help to the of the universe in the future, but unfortunately he can't use it now. But was watched. Because of that treasure, even if the universe knew about it, he wouldn't. But no matter how special it is, at least it can't help him now. Now the ability to enhance his divine power is still this demon dragon blade. Boy, where did you get this treasure? Lord Zolongshan couldn't help showing greed in his eyes, but he didn't it directly, but wanted to ask for more information. Yawn library, but his performance just now, even a 3-year-old child knows, is obviously peeping at the eyes of the candle dragon in Jian Wu's hands. Jian Wushuang paused for a moment and replied, Senior, this treasure was acquired by me inadvertently in the God's star domain. The weak strength at the beginning was helpful to me, but it is useless to me now, just now. It was also because I got that Feng Shuetan and felt that the two had the same aura, so I wanted to try it out. His eyes were clear, and in fact he didn't tell too many lies. A powerful existence can see through lies at a glance. The Lord of Zolongshan stared at Jian Wushuang, and after watching for a while, he directly pinched the eye of the candle dragon in his hand with a hook. After feeling the origin, Zhalong Mountain Master can see that Jian Wushuang did not lie. Because there is only a trace of the inner source. Although Jian Wushuang thinks it is complete, it is still far from it. Move slightly. The beast soldier candle dragon opened wide. There are candle dragon heart, candle dragon wings, candle dragon armor, and so on. The Lord of Zolongshan doesn't look down on these, he only cares about the source. That source is very weak. But there are endless opportunities for enhancement. This is enough. Jian Wushuang took the initiative to offer the beast soldiers, which made Hui Qing and others feel a little too humble. Actually can fight. At this time, Wu Li took the initiative to voice transmission and said, Brother Wushuang, this is your treasure, so you gave it away like this? Obviously he felt a little weird. When Jian Wushuang was still an emperor, Wu Li knew that this treasure of Jian Wushuang could increase the power of beast gods. With this treasure, Jian Wushuang shined in the emperor's period, and the entire 16 kingdoms of Qingchao were raised. No head. The name of the invincible emperor, or the name of the invincible Daojun, has a relationship with this beast soldier. It's really unreasonable to give it away like this. Jian Wushuang gave a wry smile, and Tan Ran voiced, If I don't take it out, he will do it right away. So what I still have. Wu Li was about to reveal his trump card, but saw Jian Wushuang shook his head. The whole card is not used at this time. Jian Wushuang has his own plans. He knew that there were still star field bandits peeping in the dark. If you fight against the Lord of Zhalong Mountain at this time, it will only allow you to reap the benefits of fishing. It is better to give the treasure to the other party first, preserve your own strength, and hide your own strength. Let both parties not know their true power. When the Star Field Bandits and Zolongshan Lords are fighting, they will attack from behind. This is not done. Now let's see what the Lord of Zolongshan has to say, if he really wants to do it. There's no way around that. It's the best policy not to act now. Also the best option. The Lord of Zolongshan held the eye of the candle dragon, and most of the doubts in his heart disappeared, but for this kind of treasure he would not stop there. Jian Wushuang and others, since they are useless, there is only one way left. But just as he was about to make a move, in the canyon of time and space, it began to vibrate. One after another, the breath continued to rise. The formations around him began to shatter. This is? The heart of the Lord of Zolongshan shook. He didn't know that his own time and space canyon, Ukanshu Kam, had previously been banned by the Lion King and others, and this prohibition was a time and space formation. A large array that can be arranged in the cracks of time and space. From the hand of a cosmic god. Brother Hongyuan, long time no see. An arrogant voice sounded from behind. Jian Wushuang and the others immediately saw the face of the person who came. In the turbid space, a burly figure walked step by step, and every step made the time and space vibrate, and there were thunders in the cracks around. It's you! When the Lord of Zolongshan turned his head, he had already seen the face of the other party. Roland, a disciple of the Luo family in the Silver Blue Star region, a demigod powerhouse. And he is a very powerful demigod. It can be said that he is the most powerful demigod in the entire Silver Blue Star region. The status is only weaker than the 4 cosmic gods. The Luo family was a family created by a cosmic god. But the actual controller is Roland in front of him. In addition to him, several powerful demigods descended around him. It seems that it is not a Star Field Bandit. It turned out to be you. Although the Lord of Zolongshan was a little surprised, he was not too surprised. The original information was the demigod powerhouse. Although the background is the use of Star Region Bandits, but not all Star Region Bandits. Because of his fat, the Star Region Bandits can't eat it. And those big families also have to face. Just use the identity of the Star Bandit as a cover. Dress up in wolf's skin to do the wolf's way. Jian Wushuang could also see that these people were not in the same group as the previous Star Territory Bandits. Seeing the other party's appearance, my heart is not only relieved. I originally thought that I would have to deal with it for a while, but I didn't expect it to be so smooth. It was a seamless connection. Wu Li, when they fight, stand on the side of the Lord of Longshan. Chapter 6155. Jian Wushuang explained it first, so as not to wait on the wrong team. His treasures are still where the Lord of Zhalong Mountain is, so he naturally stands with each other. Wu Li and others nodded and gathered together, preparing to watch the next battle. The Lord of Zolongshan glanced at everyone, frowned and shouted angrily, "A group of dirty ants, get out of my place." The voice just fell. The demon dragon's ninja in his hand erupted, and the divine power swept through the cracks in the surrounding time and space, directly shaking the surrounding demigods back to the surroundings. The powerful divine power made Jian Wushuang and the others feel ashamed. Fortunately, the method just now was to bypass them. Wu Li frowned when he saw it. Obviously his cards were not enough to deal with such a scene. "Little guys, hide behind me." The Lord of Zolongshan turned his head and glanced at Jian Wushuang and the others, then jumped out directly, and a black shadow went straight to Roland. Such a powerful power has reached 70 million divine power. Roland also raised his brows when he saw it, swallowed a mouthful of saliva, and had to push it up. Now he regrets it a little. I regret not listening to the words of those Star Domain Bandits. According to the plan of the Star Domain Bandits, they wanted to let the Lord of Zolongshan Chong Jian Wushuang and others do it to test the strength of both sides. The previous outbreak of Huiqing, 60 million divine power, made the bandits in the Star region very jealous, thinking of taking advantage of the fishermen. But after seeing Jian Wushuang voluntarily handing over the treasure, Roland couldn't sit still. This time, he took action against Zolongshan, and the treasure he snatched was of great importance. The 4 cosmic gods of the silver-blue star region highly value this action. There are also several universe gods on the side of the star bandit. So this matter has to be quick and accurate. There is only one treasure. There are many gods in the universe. So it's better to start first. Outside the territory of Jalong Mountain, the demigod, Your Majesty Dugu, headed by the star bandits, is watching the battle in the canyon of time and space through the ban. The strength of the Lord of Jalong Mountain was indeed as powerful as they had guessed. As soon as you make a move, it's a tough move. Roland and others, headed by the silver-blue star region, have already lost many demigods. You must know that Roland's demigod power is more than 55 million. Originally intended to form a formation to trap the Lords of Jalong Mountain, but they were killed one by the Lords of Jalong Mountain. Even if a large formation is formed, the divine power exceeds 65 million, but it is still unable to stop the Lord of Jalong Mountain. Roland, headed by him, with 68 million divine power, exploded to the limit, and he couldn't even stop the Lord of Jalong Mountain. Calm in the northern star field of the entire King continent, a famous demigod powerhouse. From the Kuanping family of the demon clan. Zong Dry. His Majesty Dugu let go slightly and shook Shijiao away. Tell Zonggan to come in together, stop playing tricks, and force Hongyuan back to the dragon clan in a hurry. No one can do anything by then. Shijiao got up, showing a respectful look. Don't worry, Your Majesty, I am the master of sound transmission. Because if he doesn't go again, Roland is really going to perish. In the canyon of time, the humming of divine power was deafening. Jian Wushuang and the others stood in the back honestly, not daring to breathe. Too strong. This is the strongest they have seen since they came to the Realm King continent. The divine power that the Lord of Zolongshan had just burst out was 72 million. And he can see that the other party has not reached the limit, or the peak has not yet been reached. Demigods are so strong. Maybe they don't understand, but Wu Li has been in the Realm King continent for many years. He couldn't help but take a deep breath and exclaimed, "The Lord's divine power, I am afraid that in the entire northern star field of the King continent, can be ranked in the top 10, such a powerful divine power, if the universe does not appear, he is undefeated." So exaggerated? Jian Wushuang couldn't help exclaiming. If so, what about his beast soldier? Don't get the beast magic weapon in the opponent's hand by then, but instead put one in. Calculate your own divine power now. Jian Wushuang did not dare to make a move rashly. Continue to wait for those star domain bandits. He knew more than one group of people staring at this place. His own divine power now has 25 million. To display the super eternity change, it is 50 million. Using the blessings of the Yuanyuan Dojo again, it would be difficult to break through the 7 capitals. Chapter 6156. His origin is only at the level of the 8 tribulations, and the increase of 50 million divine power is exaggerated. If it is an increase of 40 million divine power, it can only be increased by half. That is 20 million divine powers. But if it is 50 million divine power, it is very difficult to increase it by 40%. He made a rash move and would not win. Hui Qing blinked and said firmly, "If he didn't hide his divine power, I should be able to resist." Resist? Wu Zhuo hurriedly came over and asked, "Little brother Hui Qing, don't be foolish at this time, my 70 million divine power, it's not that I don't believe you, you just broke through the 9 tribulations. How long?" "Okay." Jian Wushuang interrupted everyone's concerns and said, "Isn't this over yet?" As soon as he finished speaking, the time and space around him shook again. 2 terrifying auras came at the same time. With it came dozens of powerful demigods. Among them are familiar breaths, such as Witch Lion King and Shijiao. The divine power of these 2 people is average, but they have a lot of means, and they can't be careless. As for the 2 terrifying auras, Jian Wushuang felt that breathing was a little difficult, and said in surprise, "Come on, they are our saviors, and they are not weak lords of Jalong Mountain." Yep. After carefully examining one of the breaths, he even frowned. The power of the stars. He was all too familiar with that breath. This time, a real big man has come. Don't wait for them to react. The Lord of Zolongshan was already in front of them. Roland was seriously injured and crawling in the void. Zongan! The Lord of Zolongshan leaked an unbelievable look, stared at the blue figure, and exclaimed, "You are a super mythical beast, and you have mastered the power of the starry sky, and you want to swim in this muddy water? Super mythical beast, the power of the starry sky. No matter which one you stand on, it's all on the pre-order list of the super strong. Both stand. That is absolute super genius. Before a demigod, he would definitely be carefully protected by his family. After demigods, after they have the ability to protect themselves, they usually go to the secret realm of the starry sky, or go to some dangerous places to find opportunities. Now it is mixed with the Star Field Bandits. The Lord of Zhalong Mountain, who belongs to the dragon family, naturally knows that the identity of the other party is extremely noble, and he is extremely surprised. After Jian Wushuang heard it, he didn't understand, but seeing the surprised look in the eyes of the Lord of Zolongshan, he also knew that the other party was not easy to mess with. The strength and background are the same. Just do your friend a favor. If you are interested, you can give me the treasure directly. For your brother's sake, I can compensate you for some treasure." Zong Qian's arrogant appearance did not make Hong Yuan feel any discomfort. Because the other party has this ability. "Zonggan, I have no grievances with you, do you really want to force me?" Hong Yuan was not afraid because of the other party's words. He is also confident. With the dragon's blade in hand, he is not afraid of even a super divine beast. It's just the power of the starry sky that makes him a little jealous. Moreover, this place is a time-space canyon. Once the fight begins, with their divine power, this place may be destroyed. I'm not haggling with you, answering my questions. Don't think about it. That means there is no need to talk. Zonggan was no longer talking nonsense and shot directly. Boom. A loud noise exploded, and the huge Kunpeng body appeared. The blue arc flashed, and the divine power surged to more than 7,550. Hong Yuan took a deep breath and rushed forward. The figure flashed, and the deity also leaked. A huge red dragon soared into the sky. Face Kunpeng. The mid-grade mythical beast faces the super mythical beast, and it is also a super mythical beast that has mastered the power of the starry sky. This scene made Jian Wushuang and others completely lose the idea of participating in the war. Already thinking about going back. It's just that there is a super strong man next to him who didn't shoot, but kept staring at them. Can't even run. Jian Wushuang and the others could only avoid each other's eyes. But the more he avoided, the more unscrupulous his eyes were. Is that the little bald donkey? His Majesty Dugu frowned and stared at Huiqing. It's him. I don't know what secret method he used, and his divine power has soared to 60 million, and he is not at his peak. The Lion King replied respectfully. Little Book Pavilion app. It's kind of interesting, Zonggan doesn't seem to need me anymore. After he gets the treasure, I'll go to fight with him. Just now I have time to meet him. The throne shook, and His Majesty Dugu immediately appeared in front of Huiqing. Jian Wushuang couldn't help shouting, "Be careful!" Still a bit late. His Majesty Dugu didn't give them a chance to breathe at all, and immediately took action as soon as they arrived. Huiqing didn't have time to display his future body. Directly captured by the opponent. He grabbed Huiqing's head with one hand. Isn't that exaggerated? His Majesty Dugu said with increasing force. Huiqing's face was so painful that she couldn't get rid of it at all. In this situation, Jian Wushuang was unbearable and broke out immediately. Super eternal change. The mighty star power exploded in an instant. Breath vibrates. Even Zonggan, who was fighting with the Lord of Zhalong Mountain, looked at Jian Wushuang in a daze. The power of the stars? This is an extremely special power, and there are very few practitioners who can master this power. The Lord of Zolongshan couldn't help but exclaimed, he actually mastered the power of the starry sky. Before, he didn't take Jian Wushuang in his eyes at all. He just thought that the other party was a stinky boy with better luck. Unexpectedly, he has mastered the power of the starry sky. And somehow, the other party's divine power has doubled. From 25 million, directly to 50 million. His Majesty Dugu, who was holding Huiking's head, was also stunned, but he was surprised that Jian Wushuang had mastered the power of the starry sky. Although he was surprised, Jian Wushuang's divine power reached 50 million and it was still not enough. Is that the power? King Shenmu heard the figure move and shouted angrily, "And me!" Magic Cloud. An angry shout. Demon Cloud Ting appeared and Shenmu King was completely integrated into one. Magic Cloud Change, hum. After the integration of the complete Shenmu King, the divine power has also reached 50 million. Friend Wushuang, I'll help you. And I. Wu Zhuo also broke out completely, using 10 times the World King Fist, and the divine power also exploded to 50 million. Wu Li looked around and found that he was the only one left. But his divine power is not 50 million. I also have a backer. Wu Li gritted his teeth, looked at His Majesty Dugu, and said viciously, "It's not enough, they all have to die." His madness shocked Jian Wushuang. The rest had 50 million divine powers, and only Wu Li was left. Jian Wushuang was stunned for a moment and persuaded, "Brother Wu Li, don't say it, I'm going out today." Wu Li took out a wooden token, crushed it directly, and shouted angrily, "Come out, Pat." Sawdust drifts away. After a few breaths, nothing has changed. Chapter 6157. Wu Li was also stunned, feeling a little embarrassed, and coughed dryly, "Wait for me, I really have something behind." Jian Wushuang looked at it with a wry smile, not knowing how to say it. His divine power is more than that, and he has not yet used the Starry Sky Dojo. Just when he hesitated, the canyon of time and space shook. The ancient breath also fell from the sky. An extremely terrifying figure faintly appeared in the void. That figure once brought endless fear to Jian Wushuang and others. Back then, in Wanlu Shenmu, he was chased and killed by the opponent all the way, leaving a lot of trauma. Even seeing it now, I can't help my legs trembling. That terrifying sense of oppression was on the same level as Broly. Qi Jiuxiao. Hui Qing and Wu Zhuo didn't know. But Jian Wushuang and Shenmu Wang are clear. Isn't Qi Jiuxiao taken away by Dan Bao? The King Shenmu asked in surprise, "Why is it where you are?" Seeing Qi Jiuxiao coming, Wu Li breathed a sigh of relief and then explained, "Dan Bao is afraid that this time will be dangerous, so he lent Qi Jiuxiao to me once. But there is also a drawback, he doesn't distinguish between friends and enemies, be careful." Careful? How strong is he? If it was before, they might be overwhelmed with fright, but now that they have 50 million divine power, can they still be afraid of a Qi Jiuxiao? Back in the northern time and space, Qi Jiuxiao had 30 million divine powers. That is already the peak. How strong can it be? Even if it is the first group, like under the universe God, he is invincible. Wu Li's voice fell silent. Jian Wushuang immediately burst into the source, and the divine power directly approached 70 million. A flying kick directly kicked His Majesty Dugu off the throne, pulled up Huiking's figure, and started to retreat. It is even more willing to display the three-shock universe. With everyone back to the furthest, only Qi Jiuxiao and His Majesty Dugu were left. His Majesty Dugu, who was kicked over, was extremely shocked, not Qi Jiuxiao, who was summoned by shock, but marveled at Jian Wushuang's divine power. After doubling it, it could increase by another 20 million. He had never encountered such a secret technique before. He has only heard of the frozen demon race who can improve such a strong divine power without a single change. But that group is almost extinct, and the appearance of Jian Wushuang just now has not changed. After realizing that Jian Wushuang had run away, he turned to look at Qi Jiuxiao. "I don't know if I don't see it, I was startled when I saw it. This is the giant clan. The first group of stars. There may not be many in the entire Realm King continent. It is said that in the northern time and space, Jian Wushuang encountered no more than 10 giant gods. This ratio is huge. bigger than a super beast. Some practitioners have never seen a giant in their lives. His Majesty Dugu has walked in so many star fields, and he has only seen it once. The giant clan he encountered was just an ordinary Nine Tribulations realm with less than 50 million divine power. Just breaking through not long ago. And it was still under siege at the time. But the giant clan that rescued the giant clan, the master of the universe of the Nine Tribulation realm, was too powerful. Even beyond his cognition, the strongest of the many cosmic gods he has ever seen is definitely the cosmic of the giant race. At this time, seeing Chi Jiuxio's volatile breath, he couldn't help but feel tight. Giant god race, how can there be a giant god race here? Hong Yuan and Zhong Gan, who were still fighting, also stopped. Looking at the giant clan powerhouse appearing in front of him, he was also stunned. They can't afford this. Zhong Gan, who has a lot of knowledge, knows that the giant god race may not be so conspicuous in the Realm King continent. That is because there may not be 100 giants of the giant god race in the Realm King continent. It's hard to be conspicuous. Moreover, 90% of the giant gods in this number are the masters of the universe. There are no more than 10 cosmic gods. But even so, the combat power of these 10 cosmic gods can almost sweep the entire Realm King continent. Unless those innate gods come. For example, the Kaiju god, or Zamasu or the Great Kaiju kind of character. The universe among the practitioners is not an opponent at all. Although his background is very tough, he has to be weighed when he encounters the giant gods. Your Excellency is a strong man from the giant temple? Zhonggan stopped and asked tentatively. The giant god temple is a large hall left by the giant god race in the Realm King continent, which has the opportunity to give the giant god race. As long as the giant gods who reach the Nine Tribulations realm can get to the giant temple, they can go to the starry sky. Or get the chance and continue to stay in the king's continent. But Chi Jiuxiao is different. He was brought from the starry sky by Babididai, first to the northern time and space, and then to the god's star field by Danbao after recovery. And here it is today. Facing Zhonggan's question. Chi Jiuxio's eyes turned, and he couldn't understand at all. He's like a lunatic. With a clenched fist, his divine power rose sharply. Although he has a physique similar to Broly's, he doesn't have the unlimited growth potential of Broly. Divine power exploded, and it didn't stop until the breakthrough reached 80 million. This move made Zhonggan couldn't help but take a deep breath. He can be ranked in the top 10 in the northern star region of the Realm King continent. But there is no divine power of 80 million. After Chi Jiuxiao broke out, they were not given a chance to continue talking, shot directly. Still as crazy as ever. Your Majesty Dugu is stupid. Before he had time to improve his divine power, he was seriously injured by a punch. Zhonggan was not much better, and his continuous resistance made his divine body unstable. Forcibly improving is not good. You can only hold on to your divine power and resist it with difficulty. The most unlucky one was Roland from the Silver Blue Star territory, who was torn to shreds by Chi Jiuxiao. Fall on the spot. The Lord of Zhalong Mountain, Hong Yuan, took the opportunity to retreat. Hold your breath, restrain your divine power, and prepare to get fat. There are too many strong people coming this time. If you don't go, you really have to stay here. His Zhalong Mountain could no longer stay, and he could only leave the place with his clan. It's just a pity that this space-time canyon, a place where treasures are constantly born. Even if I leave, I won't leave it to you. The figure of the Lord of Zalongshan kept flying high. There is also an extra token in his hand to manipulate the big array. He's going to destroy this place. Or to repair the cracks in time and space. Before the destruction, he turned his head and glanced at Jian Wushuang and others, and he had no plans. These people surprised him too much. First, Jian Wushuang took out the beast soldier, and then Jian Wushuang exposed the power of the starry sky. The divine power has risen to 70 million, but he is willing to give him the beast divine weapon. Either the other party can really endure it, and feels that the beast magic weapon is just an ordinary treasure, or have plans for him. There must be a picture. It's just that he didn't pay attention to each other. Now another giant has been released. And he looks like a lunatic. Unconscious giants. He really can't be bothered. Go! Kacha crushed the token. With a flash of his figure, he wanted to leave the canyon of time and space directly. Chapter 6158. The surrounding time and space, starting from this moment, gradually collapsed. The Lord of Zolongshan was a little surprised. This was the first time he had activated this ban, and he didn't know what was going on. I thought about leaving quickly. But before he could leave, a figure appeared in front of him and stopped him. If you look closely, there are two. There is also a monk-like figure. Needless to say, it was Jian Wushuang and Hui Qing. Lord, you seem to have taken something you shouldn't have. Jian Wushuang slowly stepped forward, and his divine power was shocked, directly reaching 70 million. He hasn't burned the divine body yet. The beast god soldier is right in front of you, and whatever you say today will let the other party stay. Who are you? The Lord of Zolongshan would not be caught without his hands. Although his divine power had dropped a lot, he still had more than 70 million, and he was not afraid of Jian Wushuang. Just jealous of the identity of the other party. Jian Wushuang sneered, just try and you'll know. He knew that the other party would not let go easily. Only one battle. Cling. Draw the sword directly. His strongest means is the Starry Sky Catalog. As soon as the sword is drawn, it is the fifth sword of the Starry Sky Catalog. Time and Space Reincarnation. A huge sword shadow fell from the sky. The terrifying source of connotation, if compared to divine power, exceeds 75 million. The Lord of Zolongshan couldn't believe it. It's too late to regret now, so I can only bite the bullet and take this sword. Time and space intersect with reincarnation, sweeping the surroundings. The force of the shock shone on the face of the Lord of Zhalong Mountain. His divine body was distorted, and he was obviously invincible. Read novel The Sword Shadow passed through, and the divine body of the Lord of Zhalong Mountain was shattering. Holding his chest with one hand, he panted and said, "You've already been eyeing the dragon's blade?" Jian Wushuang nodded sullenly. "Hand over it, I can spare your life." His purpose is the beast soldier, it's that simple. As long as you give him the beast magic weapon, everything is easy to say. He didn't even need to say anything, he immediately turned his head and left. Take people to the Silver Blue Star Field to explore the secret realm of the starry sky. Rather than wasting time here. Don't think about it. The Lord of Zolongshan snorted coldly. The dragon's blade was his most important treasure, and it was impossible to hand it over, otherwise it would be equivalent to breaking his path to the universe god. Swish. He flipped his hand and took out a space-time order, and said coldly, "If you want a beast soldier, go to the Dragon Clan to find me." This time, he decided to drop everything and return to the Dragon Clan. Concentrate on practicing until the god of the universe leaves the customs. At that time, adding the treasure he got, after reaching the universe god, he is also a super existence among them. All figured out. Why should you delay your great future because of some small things? This time, even Zhong Gan was dispatched for that treasure. He knew it was the same wherever he ran. Better to go back to the tribe. After Jian Wushuang saw the time and space order, his heart was also cold. He forgot about it. The other party has time and space orders. You can run away anytime. This is not the northern time and space, he can block the time and space at will. For a time, he was also in a hurry. Hastened to strike again. Want to stop the opponent. The Lord of Zolongshan laughed indifferently and said, "It's too late." Kacha. Crushing the token, a hole appeared in time and space. Seeing that the other party was about to flee, Jian Wushuang had mixed feelings in his heart. He urgently needed the beast magic weapon to improve his divine power, otherwise how would he face the threat of Metal Life and Shilu? But he had seen the power of the space-time order. A little excitation. Only the universe can stop it, or arrange a large formation to block time and space in advance. Just when he revealed his unwillingness, Hui Qing next to him reminded, "Brother Wushuang, it's not over yet." At this time, When Jian Wushuang looked at the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain again, he also found something different. It was obvious that he could no longer feel the breath of the other party, but he could see that the other party was still in the crack of time and space, not far away. And that rift is constantly spreading. This is... Jian Wushuang exclaimed, "How did time and space become like this?" The entire space-time canyon is undergoing tremendous changes. His Majesty Dugu and Zhonggan, who fought Qi Jiuxiao, also felt this change. The cracks around it continued to expand. Soon this place will collapse. Form a huge black hole. By then they'll all be dead. Jian Wushuang, who had just entered this place, did not know about this situation. "I thought it was a special place here, and stopped the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain." Then he used his sword again and tried to attack the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain. However, he found that his time-space reincarnation sword could not enter the space-time crack at all. Naturally, it would not threaten the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain. "I'm here to see, how long can you hide?" Jian Wushuang used his sword again. Unexpectedly, this time, the Lord of Zolongshan came out of the crack himself, just to resist the sword. The Lord of Xiaolong Mountain, who was seriously injured, was hit by a sword again, and his body was completely shattered. Yep. This time Jian Wushuang was stunned. He didn't expect that the other party would take the initiative to come out and die. With one sword, the opponent's life was completely killed. That's it. Wu Li and the others flew over, and when they saw the Lord of Xiaolong Mountain, who had turned to ashes, they all leaked surprised eyes. "Don't worry about it, clean up, let's withdraw." Jian Wushuang took the treasures left on the ground into mustard seeds, and wanted to leave with everyone. But when they turned around and looked around, they found that all around were cracks in time and space. "Can't go." His Majesty Zhonggan and Dugu, as well as those Starfield bandits, were also dumbfounded. "You can't even use the space-time order. Can't escape." Sitting still, there is also the threat of Qi Jiuxiao. Escape and can't escape. Done. Damn. Zhonggan shouted angrily and began to take out his cards. The divine power has also approached 80 million, which is the life-saving means given to him by the ancestors. At this time, all of his brains were used, and he was able to suppress Qi Jiuxiao for a short time. But the cracks around it kept spreading. Space is also shrinking. They didn't dare to enter the crack. They could only get close to each other. The scope keeps shrinking. Soon to be thousands of miles away. Qi Jiuxiao's figure of 10,000 feet can attack them without moving. "Wu Li, are you sure you can't put him away?" The Shenmu King looked at the incomparably majestic Qi Jiuxiao in despair. He didn't want to face this monster again. But now the space is too small for them to shrink their size, so they can only fight against it. It's not even a threat. In the face of Qi Jiuxiao, Jian Wushuang has the means to save his life. But how to get out? He also found that Zhonggan and others did not dare to step into the crack. Obviously afraid of the cracks in time and space. Even against Qi Jiuxiao, he would not dare to enter the crack of time and space. The Lord of Zolongshan even took the initiative to withdraw from the crack. Fight! Jian Wujuo's color sank, and he took out the pyramid. The crowd rushed in, awaiting final judgment. It didn't take many years to enter the Realm King continent. Unexpectedly, this time I encountered a bottomless thing. Into the space-time rift. You're tuning in to the Passion Pages YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.